Hello and welcome to the Blackdog podcast, episode 306. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
I'm Elton.
And this week we will be doing How's Your Week, seeing how everyone's week's been, that kind of bizzo. And then we will be moving on to the first of an idea which looked good on paper until we actually had to do it, which is essentially shit video game season. One of those things where we're all on the chat, we're all on Facebook going, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of that idea? Coming up with loads of ideas, and then we go, let's do this one, and then finally the realization comes around to actually having to do it, and it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
So anyway, happy Valentine's Day for those of you who are not listening to us while we're recording.
You lucky fuckers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they'll probably be having sex while we're recording this.
It's funny, so am I.
Oh, I just had some.
Yeah, I had some, and so did my wife.
Hold on. There we go. I've just had some more. There we go. Brilliant.
Yeah. Let's celebrate on Valentine's Day the first time someone ever looked at their sperm through a microscope. There you go. Anyway, I don't know if that's true. It's just one of those facts. I'll throw it out. Anyway, so there you go. So yes, Valentine's Day. Here we are, and so we thought we'd celebrate with the Rock and Carl Urban fighting plastic dummies.
Wonderful.
Well, how could that be wrong?
How could it be right?
Well, exactly. How could it be right? How could we even think about this? Especially since I got the drop on the next week's episode as well, and I watched the House of Flying Knickers, and it's really not good. Anyway, so before we get to this week's one, Doom, we will see how everyone's week's been, and how has your week been, Jim?
Reasonably quiet, really. Into February, kind of not much longer of winter.
just the countdown.
But this week, is a notable date, which is often fraught with difficulties. It's my dad's birthday at the weekend, and I have the fun game of what do you buy the man who has everything that isn't just a badge saying I've got everything. Which is my always the ultimate plan B. I've not had to break it out yet. I've always managed to find something. But yeah, so that's been if anyone as a father who's very difficult to buy for, and if you see something, he just buys it anyway.
Yep.
I'm sure you can relate. But
yeah. Do you want us to put the call out on the Facebook group? See what they come up with an Amazon wish list.
No. Thankfully, as
you're not that desperate.
I did my usual thing, was actually just troll around various interesting shops, and then I actually saw kind of two actually rather nicely done little stone, well not stone, but stone, I don't know, synthy stone kind of garden ornaments of two rabbits.
Oh, nice.
Which is nice. So he actually has a wild rabbit that comes into his garden from the woods behind his house, which he feeds.
Oh, nice.
And he did have a rather nice like stone rabbit a couple of years ago, and Frost got it, and its head fell off. It cracked, so it had to be replaced. So I saw these two, and they were a matching pair, and I was just like in an old curiosity shop. Thought, bang, done. Thank you,
nice.
Thank you, the gods of shopping. Saved my bacon.
So you weren't
I was pleased.
You weren't considering Watership Down on Blu-ray?
No.
Nice. Oh well, that's cool. That's that sorted then.
Yes. I was pleased with that. That was a nice 11th hour kind of. Brilliant, perfect. Nice. And what's more, I got a reduction in the shop because I bought a pair.
Nice.
Which is very rare from antique shops, I can fucking tell you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Unless you go around with a film crew from the BBC, in which case then you can knock something down in these antique programs down from like, oh, would you accept £3 for like a £50, chair? And they go, oh yeah, okay, soon as it's you. But anyway, sorry. Maybe I watched a bit too much sort of antique roadshow daytime TV when I was freelancing.
Leave him for 10 minutes and you end up with small little rabbits, little pebbles. to say.
Oh yeah, that's the next thing. What you do is you freak him out and you get a load of baby stone rabbits and just start dotting them around. Especially if he watches Doctor Who, they're sort of like weeping angel rabbits. Every time he blinks, there's a new one.
Sneaking some more in over the back fence.
Exactly, just throw them over.
But yeah, so other than that, I've not really done a lot. Not a right lot, as they say.
Yeah.
Maybe we're hard at work. Maybe cooking up on an interesting new project.
Oh yes.
But I'm not going to say any more about that until I've decided I'm definitely doing it.
Oh, juicy dangler. Juicy dangler.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay. So what is it then?
No clues.
Okay. I've stopped recording. What is it?
No clues.
Shit. Well, that's my line of hard questioning out the window, Paxman. What you got left?
Yeah. Watch and learn, Kellyanne Conway, you skeletal little bitch. Right. Sorry. Where did that come from? Anyhow.
Okay, then. Well, I'll move on to you then, Elton. How's your week been, sir?
It's been good. I've been absolutely knackered, but it's all been worth it.
That's because you've been playing away. You've been playing away with another film podcast at like 3:00 in the morning.
Well,
You've just been filming, criticking around.
I like variety in my life. What can I
You're
say?
sleeping on the sofa tonight, you dirty hooer.
Yeah. I don't think you get to sit in the special chair anymore.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
No. Everyone turn their back on him.
You get to sit in the camping chair.
No, guys, no, guys.
Yeah, the one with
Come
one
on.
screw missing from one of the arms. That one, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be like Superman, that thing at the beginning when they sort of do Zod, guilty, and then the lights just go out, guilty, guilty. Now go on and
Put it
carry
to a
on.
pane of glass as well.
Yeah, that's what we're going to stick you in a little hula hoop and fire you into space. No, go on anyway.
Okay. Well, I think your bad thoughts may have scuppered my recording at some point during that night. I got up around about 2:45. If you listen to the episode that I just recorded, it's Shonky Lab, and it's 2017 up and coming movies, and I was joined by Dean Martin from LSG Media to talk about the movies. And halfway through, as people who listen to Shonky Lab would know, we took a break around about the hour point when the Mixler dies, and I went to get a drink. And as I walked into the kitchen, I stepped in a puddle. And all my lights are off because it's 4:00 in the morning now. And I'm like, there's not supposed to be a puddle there. What the fuck?
Did you have an accident?
I didn't have an accident, but the fucking fish tank threw a wobbly. It just went no more water, please. The filter that we have on there had dislodged itself off the side wall, and instead of pumping the water around, circulating it for the fish, it decided to throw the water out of the fish tank.
Oh no.
And onto the side, and then onto the floor, and onto all the kids' school bags, and onto all Amanda's work as well. And so it was probably doing that for a half hour, maybe an hour. And I walked in, I turned the light on, I was like, it was really confusing. What the fuck? Why have I got water under my feet? It's fucking freaking me out. And I looked at the fish, and he's sitting he's not even sitting, he's kind of flapping in an inch of water.
Oh, man.
Jesus.
And he's on his side going, I can't get any more closer to the floor than what I am at the moment, guys. Could you put some water in here, please, quickly?
That's almost like a conclusion to Finding Nemo 3.
It kind of was, yeah. Well, where the pump had dislodged, it had followed the level of the water down, so it continued to chuck out the water all the way down to the bottom.
No.
Luckily, I caught it, put the fish in another bowl, filled it up with water, and we tried to clean it up for the next hour. That was fun. And now our kitchen lino floor wood stuff is all shagged, so that's good.
Oh, you got your laminate.
It's got laminate. It's old laminate from when we first moved in, which needs to be ripped out anyway. But that's not the point.
Yeah, it didn't need to happen that night.
No, didn't need to happen at 4:30 in the fucking morning. What the hell?
4:30.
So yeah, that was fun.
Yep.
But got the recording finished anyway.
And very good it was too, by the way.
Oh, cool!
I have listened to it. I was going to pull you up on the fact that you said this is about the Power Rangers. But I'll let other people listen to it first before I say anything more about that.
Okay, well, let me know, and then we'll fight.
No, it wasn't a fight. It was just one of those things, when you hear someone saying something and you know they're wrong. And I was walking into work this morning, and as I'm walking into work, you're talking about Power Rangers and coming in for a new generation, and maybe they'll make new TV shows. And I'm thinking, no, I've got kids. They still make them. It's called Super Mega Force.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
I know that. And at 4:30 in the morning with fish water around your ankles, you're hardly going to care. But the fact of the matter was, I was the audience there, man. I was like, no, you are wrong. I must.
Good. Did it sound like I was tired? Because I listened back to it when I was editing it, and fucking hell, I sounded tired.
No, you didn't.
I didn't.
Honestly, no.
Hell.
You must just constantly sound like that.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Shots fired.
No,
Return fire, quickly. Oh, damn.
No, it's fine. Cool.
And apart from that, we all went as a family to Milton Keynes to go snowboarding and skiing.
Oh, really?
In the indoor ski centre that they have there. It's called Escape, I think it is.
Mm.
And they've got lots of different shops. There's lots of restaurants around there as well. And they got the iFly thing, where the hang gliding, or not the what's it called? When you jump out of an aeroplane, what's that called?
Indoor. You mean
suicide?
Yeah, just a massive fucking blender.
Face down into a blender.
Oh, brilliant!
You're talking about indoor parachuting.
That's it. Yeah. They had one of them there.
Did you try that?
No, I don't think the kids wanted to go in there. I think it intrigued them and scared the shit out of them at the same time, so we didn't go in there. Oh. But we did the sledging and the snowboarding and the skiing over 2 days, so it was good. It's really good. I highly recommend it to anyone. And it's fucking cold, really cold, colder than what I was expecting.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So they're going for the authentic feel of freezing your bollocks off while just falling over in the snow.
Yeah, well, they've got, I'd like to say proper snow, but it's more like slushy ice. Imagine if you had a Mr. What's the ice maker drink?
Mr. Frosty.
Mr. Frosty, yeah. Imagine if you had a massive one of them and just churned out ice. That's what you're skiing and snowboarding on.
Quick skirt from Percy Penguin.
Oh, God. Half of our conversation now just requires anyone under the age of 30 to just constantly be on Google going, what the fuck are they on about? Hold on. Oh, it's a snow cone. It's a snow cone maker from the 1970s. Hooray. Percy Penguin.
I wasn't expecting that. Oh, dear.
Yeah.
How did they get away with that advert? Oh, it hurts. Oh, dear. I'm actually crying now.
Oh, good start.
That's it. Move on quickly.
Okay. Darren.
Yes.
How was your week?
Oh, well, another action-packed... No, it's not. It's not an action-packed week. Fairly lame work and shit. Only a couple of things happened, of course. On Friday,
yes.
Myself, yourself, and Madame Lazelle and Mr. Thompson all went off to see the Lego Batman movie.
Yes. Gotta be Lego Batman.
Indeed. Always be recording. Always be recording.
I seriously can't look you in the eyes right now.
Your greatest enemy, Superman. No. Anyway, not revealing nothing.
I
No
like to
spoilers.
fight around.
But yeah, totally brilliant, absolutely
Yeah.
excellent. And if anybody out there is thinking of taking their kids, do so. But be warned, take out another mortgage because they're going to want to go to the Lego store afterwards because that fucking shit worked on me. I was so disappointed when I couldn't get in. They were just shutting up as we got out.
He did. We literally walked out of the cinema at like 9:30, 9:45, and then by the time we got round the corner to the Lego store in Leicester Square, he was very disappointed that the security guard wouldn't let him in.
Sad face.
Sad face.
Like that. Sad face. I was. But yeah, it's very funny. It's very well done. Yeah, just go see it. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Really worth your time.
And anyone who, like me, and I suspect like you, Elton, weren't super duper into the Lego movie, you know, do be aware that it is actually, in my opinion, better than the Lego movie. I enjoyed it a whole heap more. And for those of you who are Batman fans, Mr. Jim, you may find that there is some unbelievably obscure Batman references in this thing, which which have been clearly researched by some serious fans. And for anyone who is a fan of this podcast and the old theme of shitty superheroes, pretty much all of our shitty superheroes turn up at one point or another in this as genuine superheroes. Yeah, the Condiment King, Crazy Quilt, the Clock King, they're all in there. The whole fucking lot of them. You're like
Condiment King.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, and they all get speaking parts and moments. And it's like, oh my god. It was literally like we just wrote this on the back of a fag packet after closing off the shitty superheroes section.
I guess it's no secret because you've probably seen it on the poster that Bane's in there, and he's actually got Thingy's voice from the Dark Knight Rises.
Oh yeah.
He speaks like this.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we've done rather well.
So yeah, excellent.
Yeah,
Worth the visit.
So if you're not into the Lego movie, the original Lego movie, but you like the look of this, give it a try because I enjoyed this more than the Lego movie by a long chalk. So there you go. Carry on, Dal. Sorry, anyway.
Yes. So the only other thing of note, which I did watch today, if anybody, I don't know if anybody's ever read any Archie comics at all. You know, the character Archie from a place called Riverdale. Well, what Netflix have done is they've created a series called Riverdale, which is a live-action version of Archie, but it's kind of set much later in Archie's life when he's sort of like, you know, getting into his late teens, early 20s type thing. And it's actually pretty good. There's a bit of a mystery within there about the murder of one of these. I don't know if the character is actually like, you know, one of the stand the comic book, but one of this set of twins dies. You get this at the beginning of the show, and it's like his body was never found. So it's what actually happened to this guy.
Pardon me, but wasn't Archie just like some twatty comic about a guy just trying to get his rocks off with a bunch of teenage girls in a school, high school?
I'm
Pretty
not
much.
too sure. I know it was
As far as I mean, Archie's been going since I think the pre-Cambrian era of comics.
Yeah,
And
it's a long running gig.
yeah, as far as I know, it's kind of I think it's probably closer to say it's kind of it is the prototype for Happy Days.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, this one ain't so Happy Days though. I can tell you that now.
But I know recent years they've done like an Archie After Dark, which has been like a horror veined comic that's apparently actually quite good. It features the undead and zombies taking over Riverdale.
For fuck's sake.
They've done all sorts of weird sort of variation. You know, the last few years had these very sort of meta Scooby-Doo cartoons like Mystery Inc.
Which is very good.
Yeah, they've sort of been doing the same sort of thing with Archie comics apparently for quite a while now of doing these bizarre variants.
Have you seen all the new Hanna-Barbera comics that they've brought out? The revamps of these characters, things like Scooby-Doo and of Wacky Races. Jesus Christ. Have you seen that?
No.
Dick Dastardly looks like fucking Lobo now. I'm not joking. It's all done pretty seriously. It's all set after I think it's in the Scooby-Doo universe, so it's all post-apocalyptic. So it's called Wacky Racelands. The thing. I've got the first couple of episodes. I haven't read it yet, but the artwork looks good, and the actual, I don't know, just the whole premise of it seemed pretty cool.
Wow!
So yeah, you've got what's it? Muttley's now this fucking robo cyber killer type dog thing with just metal bits all over it and shit.
Do you know what? It's moments like that where it suddenly makes me feel I'm very glad I no longer work at Cartoon anymore, because if I had to support that kind of shit, I'd probably just want to throw myself under a bus. Hold on, what's this? Oh my god, Jim supplying me. Oh my good lord. Yeah, Jim's just supplied me with a picture of it. It looks like a Simon Bisley.
Yeah.
Simon Bisley crossed with Mad Max. What the fucking hell is that? Oh, do me a favour. Penelope Pitstop in the Compact Pussycat, and she looks like something from Faster Pussycat, Kill in a car with machine guns on the front. And then, oh god, and there's Dick Dastardly going, "Stay focused, Muttley. Any asshat gets in our way, and we're gonna roll over him. We're not getting to Utopia if we keep losing to these fools." It's like, really? Oh, just fuck off. Anyway, carry on. Carry on, Dal. Sorry.
No, that was it, basically.
Oh.
That's all I've done this week, really.
Wow.
Like I say, nothing of interest. Move along. Nothing to see here.
Okay, well, I mean, my week is pretty much the same sort of thing. I did, the Lego Batman thing with you guys and Sarah and Martin. Yeah, I would say, just to add on to that I thought the first 30 minutes of it were just the funniest thing I've seen this year. I know that's not saying much, given that the year is barely started yet, but it was just astoundingly brilliant. And then I've got one story from work, which Darren does kind of know, but I figure I should, I haven't had a Lee embarrasses himself story for quite a while.
I know the one.
So sit back, ladies and gentlemen, as I tell you the tale of me trying to get to know everyone at work. And basically it's been documented that, normally I don't talk to a lot of people at work, and, they don't really know me very well, and I don't really know them very well. So I finally decided, in a more chipper moment, to sort of go, you know what, at lunchtime, I'm going to go into the kitchen, I'm going to sit down with my dinner, with my lunch, and I'm actually going to sit there and have a conversation with them. And so, whoever just happens to be there, because, I've been there nearly like 14, 15 months now, and, barely speak to anyone from one day to the next. So I thought, well, fuck it. You know what? I'm going to go into the kitchen. I'm going to do this. So I took my little pot noodle thingy that I was going to eat, and I went into the kitchen and poured the hot water in, and while I'm stirring it, I thought, well, I'll sit down. Look, there's a couple of tables dotted around, and there's about 8 or 9 people sort of floating about. So I thought, well, that's cool, and but the only table with a free seat was this sort of empty one. I'm sort of, right, okay, fine, I'll sit there, but people will join, And so there I am, earwigging on people's conversations, and then someone sits down near me, and they start talking, and I'm like, trying to get into the conversation. And then on the table, I finish my noodles, and on the table I notice that there's some Marks and Spencer's pots. I don't know if you've seen these things in, Marks and Spencer's, like mini bites of cakes, and there's like millionaire shortbread and chocolate Rice Krispie things and coconut slices and all this kind of shit. But they're in these little plastic pots. And normally what happens is, when it's someone's birthday, people usually just go to the nearby Marks and Spencer's, buy a bunch of these, and just leave them on the table. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just actually having a conversation with this lady and this guy, and I'm sort of sitting there, and I'm like, oh, they look nice. Must be someone's birthday. So I put my hand in, grab a millionaire's shortbread. Oh, nice little taster. That's quite nice. And then I'm still talking away. And then I have another one. And I think, oh, well, no one else is having them. There's all these people standing around. They're not having a conversation. They're not really getting involved in eating any of these things. So I'm like, oh, I'll have another one of them. Oh, look, there's the ones with the cornflakes with the chocolate on them. I'll have one of them. Anyway, I carry on, and I'm still having this conversation, and I'm just picking at these pots, like the greedy shit I am, while having a cup of tea. And then all of a sudden, I get up, and I think, right, okay, well, I've got to go back to work, so I get up, and I'm, I'll speak to you a bit later. And I go and take my pot noodle thingy over to the bin, and then I turn round, and I notice on the table that there's one pot I haven't really been anywhere near, which looked like a little shortbread tin. On that shortbread tin was a picture of a man's face that had been sellotaped onto it. And it turned out that these pots of nibbles were nibbles which were put out as like, donate 30p to cancer charity for this guy who had died from work. And basically the idea was it was kind of like an honesty system whereby you come along and you pick out like a millionaire's shortbread and put 30p in the tin. And I'd eaten about 10 of them, and I had no money. And then I'd noticed that suddenly everyone's kind of realised what I've been doing, and I'm standing there with picking bits of cornflake and chocolate out of my teeth, and I'm like, I got no money. I can't do anything. Oh, shit. And I just had to sort of balls it out and go, well, I'll see you later then. I think so. Yeah. So basically, I inadvertently, I got to know everyone, and then they all got to know that I would basically steal chocolate sweeties from a dead man.
Beautiful.
Which is just great. There. So
you'd run out of money and smoke bombs at that time.
Yeah, it was no baby. Just disappeared. Ninja. And yeah. But yeah, so that was it. I managed to sort of polish off the chocolate like Rice Krispie things because they were really nice. Rocky Road, nice. Have a bit of them. But yeah.
Your road to the underworld. Did it start by vandalising the little guide dog for the blind dogs outside shops when you were younger?
I used to kick them over, and then when I noticed they shit coins out, I just hit them with a hammer. Something like
Remember
that.
them fucking creepy things with the kid next to the dog? They're fucking huge.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we used to wrestle them to the ground to get some money out so I could talk to my parents to come pick me up out of from phone boxes. No, I mean, I literally didn't know what I was doing, and I just had managed to eat this stuff, but obviously everyone else had twigged it, and so I'm back to being ostracised again, really. That's not a bad start, is it? So, yeah, that was my week. That's pretty much it. Shall we have a film?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do our film. Cheers. Roll the jingle.
Blackdog Shit Video Game Season. Shite. Finish me.
Yeah, that'll be the end of your ears. Thanks for that. So, that was the jingle. Get used to that for the next 4 weeks. It's not as bad as the films you're about to watch. So, yeah, Doom. Doom is a 2005 science fiction action horror film directed by Andrei Bartowski. What? Bartowskiak. What the fuck? Answers on a postcard. Andy Bart, I'm going to call him. Because that just looks like a triple word score.
Bart Kowak.
Bart Kowyak.
Kowyak, yeah.
Andres Bart Kowyak. Okay. And it's written by David Callahan and Wesley Strick, loosely in inverted commas, based on the video game series of the same name created by id Software, starring Carl Urban and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The film follows a group of Marines on a research facility on Mars after arriving on a rescue and retrieval mission after communications have ceased. The Marines soon battle against genetically engineered monsters plaguing the facility. After film rights deal with Universal and Columbia Pictures expired, id Software signed on with Warner Brothers with the stipulation the film would be greenlit within a year. Warner Brothers lost the rights and was subsequently given back to Universal, who started production in 2004. The film was an international co-production with the UK, the US, the Czech Republic and Germany. In an interview, executive producer John Wells stated that the second film would be put into production if the first was a box office success. The film grossed... what, Darren?
7p and a button.
Jim?
3 wrestling belts.
Okay. Andy? Andy? Fucking Andy?
Oh!
You know what it is? It's just because I was writing down dates for the new Space Doc while I was reading this out.
Excuses.
Okay, fine. We want to replace you. No, go on. Elton.
£57 million.
£57 million. Okay, fair enough. Well, the budget was $60 million, and the film grossed in North America $28 million, and overseas $27 million. So actually, you weren't far off because the worldwide total was $56 million.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. You're cheating, aren't you?
No, I'm not actually.
Well, that was a very good guess. Anyway, it's still, even with the worldwide and US sales, it still only managed to fall $4 million short of its actual budget. So that was pretty good. The review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes reports that the film has a 19% rating based on 130 reviews, with the critical consensus being sure to please fans of the video game, but lacking in plot and originality. Not enough to please other moviegoers. Roger Ebert said, "Doom is like some kid came over to your house and is using your computer and won't let you play." Rob Gonsalves gave it 2 stars, citing it's incoherent and has action sequences which are flat, has humorless characters, poor acting, and only Richard Blake as the sleazy duplicitous I haven't got my teeth in today. Portman gives a performance of any interest, and even that is on the level of caricature. In 2009, Time listed the film in their top 10 worst video game movies of all time. It did well. What else did it do? It got nominated for Razzie Awards for Worst Actor in the shape of Dwayne Johnson, though he was beaten by Rob Schneider for Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo. The film score was composed by Clint Mansell, which is a bit of a shock because it doesn't sound anything like his other stuff. And he produced a remix of the Nine Inch Nails song "We Know What You Are," which was used in the end film credits. The song "Switchback" by Cell Dweller. Cell Dweller. Anyway, it's just spelt like an idiot would write it. Was used for media purposes and used in the trailers and TV spots. That's about it, because that's all I'm willing to actually go any further talking about this film. So, it's shit. Good night, everyone. No, I mean, okay, fair enough. Have we all played Doom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Who hasn't seen this film before?
I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
No, everyone else has. Okay then, Dal. Well, you have the floor then. So what did you think of this film?
What did I think? It's a bit of a mess, wasn't it?
Understatement of the day goes to Mr. Darren Barnard.
Yeah. To begin with, I mean, even if the script had been all right, even if it had been half decent, they just went through the whole sort of like bag of cliches and just kept pulling them out left, right, and centre.
Mm-hmm.
For there. You had the really kind of creepy soldier who's into doing weird, sexy stuff. It was just a bit sleazy, into drugs and all that lot. You had the hard-nosed captain. You had the gruff-voiced hero. It was just, really nothing different there. No real kind of characters we hadn't seen before. The story. Now, I know this is Doom by name, but this is kind of a case of World War Z. Somebody just bought the name and stuck it on any old shit, right?
Yep.
Because it bears no relevance whatsoever to Doom at all. No. None of this does. Well, there's only 2 bits in this that actually, shall we say, relate to the game. The fact that it takes place on Mars and the fact that they've got the BFG in it. And that's it.
There's a couple of other bits, but you're pretty much, on the money.
like what?
Well, like the characters' names, Duke and Sarge.
Oh, well, all right,
and,
fine.
And the fact that the Doctor's called Carmack, which was named after the guy who actually made the game.
Okay, but I'm talking about the actual story.
Oh, yeah.
Itself, right? The actual element, the story element. It's not about the names. That's fine. Whatever. Those little bits, fine. Those fluffy bits they've added onto them, whatever. But the whole premise is wrong, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
If this is actually a film about Doom, right, they're supposed to end up in fucking hell by the end of it, right?
No,
because
that
it's
was
all
the
about
audience.
demons, right? It's all about fucking Satan and that coming through, trying to take over our reality,
Yep.
right? And then what happens is, in the end of the game, the hero takes the fight to hell and kind of deals with it there, right?
Pretty much.
None of that here. It's all about genetic mutations. What the fuck?
Mm.
They don't explain, really. Oh, I suppose they do a little bit with the whole injecting of that serum thing. But where did all the other ones come from?
Shut up, that's why. But go on,
What's all this fucking it can tell if you're, it's the Santa Claus virus. That's what it is, because it can tell whether you're naughty or nice. That's what it does, right? Only it does it a little bit more severely than Santa Claus does. I mean, he's just got a fucking list, and he's like, well, you're not getting a skateboard this year. You've been a little shit.
Yeah.
This takes it one step further.
Yeah.
It's like, you've been a little shit, so I'm going to turn you into this multi-clawed fucking face-eating thing. That's what I'm going to do for you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, of course.
There you are.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. What other reason do you need for that virus to do anything?
Exactly.
I mean, and of course, being naughty means you get 8 eyes and you turn into something that looks like bubblegum.
Yeah, and you eat people's brains. There you are.
While firing small penisy worm things out of your mouth.
Yeah, it always comes back to that. Have you noticed how some of the shitty science fiction films always involve some sort of, thing like that?
Yeah.
Like, what was it? Dreamcatchers. The fucking arse weasel.
Oh, God,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a shit film. This involves a tongue type thing as well, or a penis type tongue thing that infects people. Right?
Yep.
This is a shit film.
Yep. If the monster turns into a cock in some fashion, and it isn't alien, then this is just going to be that's your mark of quality, isn't it? That's your mark of say get the fuck out of here because it's just wasted time.
So you just go, you can go, hold on. Before you make me watch this film that you've bought off of the £5 shelf at Tesco's, right? Okay, the one that's only just appeared there. These sort of like really shitty sort of science fiction films that they seem to have fucking bundles of at Tesco's.
Yeah.
Like, does it involve a cock monster in it? Yes, it does. When I'm not watching it, because it will be shit.
You've had your fill of cock monsters, have you?
I've had my fill of cock monsters.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Hey, there you go. So yeah, I wasn't really impressed with it at all. It's a fairly fucking forgettable film. It's like those. It was made by those creatures from Doctor Who, the Silence, the ones that once you turn away from them, you forget that they ever existed.
Yep.
It's a bit like that. You take your eyes off the screen for more than 2 seconds, and you're kind of like, "Where was I? Oh, where are we now?
Yeah.
What's the plot?" So,
what's this? It's a castle.
exactly. And what the fuck was Rosamund Pike doing in there?
Earning a conservatory.
Yeah, fucking
Jiggling mainly.
Oh God, yeah.
But I mean, you know, she's done good stuff. I think she's like, is she not like a BAFTA winner or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You know, she's not exactly a shit actress. The fuck was going on there then? Is she going down the same route as Michael Caine?
I honestly think she just. Well, there's nothing in the wiki as to why she was involved, but I wouldn't be surprised to find that her agent just said, "Make this." And then
I reckon there's a folder full of fucking negatives somewhere. That's what I reckon. That's what I think.
Okay, yeah. Quite.
You remember this?
Yes. Remember this? Well, no one need know if you make this movie for us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, let's hope.
I actually have a theory on that. Actually, though,
Go on in.
because if you look at the director's filmography, you find he's actually been a long-serving cinematographer on a whole host of actually very respectable projects. And so I can only assume she got roped in because it's kind of, it's a video game now, fuck off. But the man who's directing it, he was a cinematographer. He did Terms of Endearment, Pritzi's Honor. Oh,
Yeah.
really? Yeah.
Yeah, he did Speed. Oh, wow.
So they could have had the tagline of this being, I mean, if he's in from Terms of Endearment, you know, it's like, it's a touching story of a mother and a daughter who get their faces bitten fucking off.
I was going to say, it's interesting because the thing is, by 2005, looking at his work, it does go a bit wonky.
There's definitely a trajectory to this career, isn't there?
There is, and it seems to be arcing downwards because it goes from it goes from Terms of Endearment. Terms of Endearment, where he was a cinematographer, and Pritzi's Honor, where he's cinematographer, and Twins, and then it starts to go, okay, then you end up sort of like Speed, and he's a cinematographer on that. Then he's a cinematographer on Species. Then it's Dante's Peak and Devil's Advocate. Then it's Lethal Weapon 4. And it's like, you can almost hear the sound of a diving Spitfire.
You know, his career isn't so much wonky. His career is like a car, right, on an icy road being driven by someone who's just had a fucking heart attack and slumps over the wheel, right? And it's all over the fucking shop. That's what it is. Fucking goes up the fucking sandbank at the side and does a rollover and everything. That's what his career did.
While the person sleeping in the seat beside suddenly wakes up and works out what's going on and tries to grab hold of the steering wheel as they spin off the track. Because after that it goes Romeo Must Die, Exit Wounds, Cradle 2, the number 2, The Grave, Doom, Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li. So the lesser of the two Street Fighter movies.
Jeez, the lesser of the two.
Yeah,
it's fucking awful.
We'll have to do that then.
Yeah, we might have to.
Point, I'm sure.
Yeah, we might have to stick that on the list somewhere because that is absolutely diabolical.
You're telling me it's even worse than the Jean-Claude Van Damme?
It makes the Jean-Claude Van Damme. It makes you appreciate quite how camp and silly the Jean-Claude Van Damme one was. Because that's the one with Kristen Kruk as Chun-Li.
Yes.
And they try to find every conceivable way of getting her into a shower for a fight scene. And then it has that Chris guy from American Pie, the one who's trying to be the sensitive jock.
Right.
Okay. And it's notable only for the fact that whenever you can put the film on like 400 speed on your DVD, and then you can hit pause. And you always hit pause with Chris, whatever his name is. Hold on, I'm going to look up his name. Looking bemused.
Pretty much like the audience.
Chris Klein. There he is, Chris Klein.
Right.
If you look up Chris Klein, he has basically a look as if someone's asking him to do calculus in his head. And you can literally speed to any frame. Close your eyes, run it as fast as you like, count to 10, and then just go, stop. And you'll find there's a freeze frame of Chris Klein looking like someone said to him, if a plane was coming from Japan and it had like 4 people who weighed 65 kilos, how much would they weigh when they landed in New York the following day after eating 600 bagels? and then he has to work it out in his head. He
Christ.
just looks like he's doing long-form division in his head all the time. It's like life has just left his eyes. But anyway, there you go.
Chris Klein, there we go. Let's have a look. Images.
Yep.
Oh, him.
Yeah, him. He's the blankest human being on earth. He looks like he's trying to sort of angle for a job as Mr. Data if they ever rebooted Next Generation. Seriously. But there you go. Anyway, so you weren't pleased with it, is what you're basically saying.
Oh, no, I loved it.
Brilliant.
It was a celebration of all things cinema. It really was.
Oh, lovely. It's a hidden work of untold genius.
You're fucking right.
Okay, then. Well, we'll move on to you, Mr. Jim. What did you think of it this time round?
Well, it was one of those. I was amazed how much of this I'd managed to forget.
Managed to forget, or just wiped from your memory?
Well, it's trying to wrestle a jellyfish to trying to even remember now what the fuck was going on in this film. So I actually made some notes for a change, as I suspected this might happen.
Mm.
Now, I was a huge, huge fan of Doom when it came out. And again, if I just want to kill hundreds and hundreds of things, I still fire up a modern port of it. And,
Yeah.
you can't beat it.
No, that's right. It's excellent.
And so I would, say, the only other thing that was Doom about this, I discount the BFG because it isn't actually called the BFG.
Yeah.
It's the wrong shape. It does the wrong thing, and it's the wrong fucking colour. The BFG famously spits huge balls of green energy, not sort of goes and coughs up some blue phlegm. And what's more, it's fired twice in this film, mainly to cause property damage. Brilliant. Thank you so fucking much. This is failing on screenwriting 101.
Yep.
Chekhov's BFG. If you introduce the BFG in Act 1 and you see it blow a big hole in the floor, in Act 3 you have to use it to kill 20,000 Hellspawn. That's how it should go. Not just blow another hole in the floor and go, I've got one shot left. Oh dear. Fuck off.
Nice.
But no, the only other Doom reference is the reference to the actual company.
All right.
That runs the operation at the UAC, I believe it is.
Yeah.
The UAV, I forget now. See this fucking film.
UAV.
Putting holes in my mind.
Yeah.
Is it UAC, UAV?
Doesn't
Fucking
matter.
hell, I can't remember now.
UAC, I believe.
Oh, it doesn't matter, really.
I've got the game sitting just over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the UAC.
Mm.
They don't even have the right logo from the game either. And it's just going, oh, fuck off. But I mean, the first time I watched it, it just drove me absolutely nuts of me sort of. Imagine this was an essay, and I'd just be writing in the margin in red pen, Doom? ?
Yeah.
Doom? ? You know what I mean? Relevance? ?
Yep.
See me after.
Yep.
You know what I mean? This time I thought, okay, well, I'll take it on the chin. It's not a film of Doom. Let's try and just judge it as a film.
Mm.
And I think the first 20 minutes or so actually aren't too bad. It's clearly a massive Aliens ripoff.
No.
But I have seen dozens of Aliens knockoffs in my time.
Yeah.
And as it goes, the first act is reasonably well put together. It's not groundbreaking, but God, I've seen a lot worse,
Mm.
It has some production magic, fair enough. But then it attempts to reach the plot, and it realizes, guys, we've got nothing. What are we doing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just let's turn off all the lights. Yes, good plan. If we keep them in the dark, they might not notice we haven't got a storyline.
Yeah.
And then it just chunders on and on and on and on. However, what struck me very, very sharply watching this is that, well, actually, from what I can grasp of what you're laughingly calling a plot, you've got hordes of zombies. You've got big eyeless creatures with big tongues that'll give you a nasty lick. You've got monster dogs. You've got a biogenic virus in a science complex with multiple levels that mutates people and turns them into monsters or zombies or anything just for the hell of it. And I thought, well, if you called chromosome 24, say, the T virus, you might have the best Resident Evil film they've not made.
Oh, my God.
Seriously. That's what's wrong with this film. They were making a Resident Evil film, quite clearly. Everything about it. This is Resident fucking Evil, not Doom. 0 out of 10, you're expelled. Fuck off.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, my word. Yeah, I suppose you're right, really. Oh, that's even more depressing now.
It is. It's just kind of like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And the fact it just sort of completely just fumbles the last act. I mean, The Rock pouncing about and, ooh, I'm over here. Carl Urban, haha, I fooled you. The Rock doesn't have a gun. Carl Urban has a big gun. Does he just blow him the fuck away like the ED-209 in the boardroom? No, he goes, I'll tell you what, because we're such great mates, we'll have a big girly punch-up. Oh, fuck off. It's Doom. It's about over-the-top firearms, not homoerotic bopping around and rolling around on the floor needlessly. And it was just kind of, it's the worst sort of big end fight you could imagine of just kind of just it wasn't even a good fist fight.
No.
It was just piss poor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And as for the big phlegm interstellar gate, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Bad CGI is bad. Just the worst.
It's not the CGI, it's just the concept of what would an interstellar gate look like? I know, like someone hawked up a big greenie.
Yeah.
Fucking thank you.
Oh, God. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I keep wanting to start my one, but no.
Yeah, I'm about done. It's just kind of, this is just kind of, it's just such, it's so mediocre. And it's just so, it misses its own mark atrociously, but it doesn't then even, do anything with what it's trying to do terribly well. It does just chunder on. I mean, I know people will say it's probably, a good hour and, 1 minute short of the actual running time too long, but more seriously though, it's kind of, this just went over, you just kept limping over the 90-minute mark and it's kind of, why are you doing this? Just finish this now. I don't care what you do. I don't care if, Carl Urban just, coughs up a greenie and clogs the interstellar gate or gets a big hanky and wipes it away. I just do, pulls a rabbit out of his ass. Anything. Just make this stop because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Just fucking die. Yeah. Okie dokie. Well, then what about you then, Elton? What do you think of this?
Well, I do appreciate what Darren and Jim have both said about this film.
Oh, God.
But they are what I like to call alternative facts.
Oh, God.
I quite like this.
Oh, God.
Hello? Am I still on? No?
Nope.
Go on in.
Right. It is terrible. It has no plot. It has The Rock in it. And a very small rock as well. This is Pebble. This is not Rock.
Bam, bam.
It ain't great, but I don't know what it is. I enjoy it. I really do.
So did you actually sit and watch it this time?
I've watched
I'm only
it
asking.
twice.
What, this week?
This week.
Oh, fuck off, Elton, really?
Yeah. I honestly have, yeah. It is shit, but it's one of them shit films I can just dig. I think where Jim said the setup, the first act, it's pretty solid because it is ripping off other things. But that's the reason why it's solid. It's got a frame of reference to work from, and so it's quite tight. Where it loses itself is where it doesn't have a story. And as Darren said, you're supposed to end up in hell. And watching two guys just jump around like Mario is not my version of hell, or what I thought Doom would represent as hell.
Oh, I don't know. I felt like it was hell.
I was going to say I felt I was fairly on the money for hell.
But in a wrong way. They're supposed to end up... You're supposed to work through all these areas and get bigger things, and it's supposed to just build up all the way through the movie to the end where you are in hell fighting massive fucking demons spitting fucking fire at you all the time. And it doesn't happen. And if I've played Doom a lot, I played it on the PC a hell of a lot, and I fucking love that game. Apart from when you get one of them fucking little bastards that you can hear him going in the background. You can't fucking find that fucker because he's spawned into a wall somewhere and you just can't kill him, and you have to start that level all over again. That pisses me off. But this, it just works. It's just silly shit, but it's fun shit that I can just dig. Dexter Fletcher, the creature, he's there without his legs and his wheels. And I'd forgotten where his character ends up being. And it ends up being that
creature from
beast.
Doom 3.
Is that from Doom 3?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, it was interesting. I quite like that character turning up. That's probably the best baddie in there. Even though it looks terrible, it's still the best baddie in there. The guy, the tongue licking thing, they're supposed to throw fireballs at you, aren't they? In the game.
That's right, Hell Knights.
And there's nothing of that. We all know where it's based off, and it's just too easy to use the game as a reference, and they don't use that game as a reference. I can't see why it's so fucking hard.
No, I didn't get that either, and especially seeing as id was so apparently involved in it. I don't quite know what the deal was. I mean, I'm just even looking through the production right now, and they just...
It's just embarrassing when they have the stuff in front of them to work from. Do you remember The Thing? And you got the Two-Face monster that we found charred in the outside.
Yeah.
And then the remake / prequel had that Two-Face thing in there, and yet it didn't look anything like the Two-Face thing in the original thing.
That's because that film was shit.
Well, but it's you cannot justify that. You have the technology, you have the equipment, you have the skills, you have the labour to do that, and yet you still faff it up. Yeah. There is no excuses for getting that wrong. And the same with this. Has anyone on this team played this game? That's the thing that gets to me.
Yeah.
I can see its flaws. I can have fun with it. I can put it on and watch it and be thoroughly entertained with it. I know it's fucking dumb. The first time I saw it, when it went first person, I think I threw my drink up in the air. I was like, oh, fuck off. No, I don't want to see this. This looks shit. Now, I was looking forward to seeing this, the first person, because I hadn't seen it in such a long time. And when it got to it, I was enjoying it, but it looked fucking shit and dumb. And whoever thought that was a good idea, I do not know. I really do not know. But okay, put me in the bunker. I've got no problems in that. Please put a copy in there for me as well to watch, because I had fun watching it. That's all I can wish for from a movie. It's fucking terrible. The Rock, his eyebrows are fucking two separate characters in themselves anyway. In this, it just what is going on there?
It's like two caterpillars jousting.
Yeah, it is. But he has either surprised face with a big smile or angry face with his eyes like half covered with these two fucking lolloping cocks all over his face. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
The character Portman, I remember hating the fuck out of him, but he adds a bit of colour to it. I feel to a very bland palette that you have on this.
Yeah.
And his death is stupid. It's over the top. Dexter Fletcher just giggling at it is just, oh, fuck off, man. Really? Come on. You can do better than this, and you have done better than this. And look, I had fun. What can I say? It's crap. It is crap. I know it's crap, but I had fun. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Fuck off. Well, okay. I mean, I'll wrap mine up really quickly. I thought this was fucking shit. I genuinely have. I normally, when films are bad, I at least try and see something in them. I mean, you see like the Birdemic, you go, well, they didn't have the budget. It's terrible. It's a really bad film. Doom has none of those excuses because it's a bad film, and they had the money. They had tons of money, and they had the cast. They had, a director whose trajectory we now see was in freefall. But the fact of the matter is, they had a director with a good, who was a very good cinematographer, and yet somehow, even with the involvement of the company that actually made the fucking game, they can't make an adaptation of their own fucking game. And the thing with it was, all the way through, all I was doing was going, you nicked that from that film, you nicked that from that film, you nicked that from that film, all the way through. And then, after a while, I just gave up with that, and it just became a tedious slog through stupid characters does stupid things stupidly for no apparent reason. Right from the very off, it's like, okay, right, they turn up on Mars base. Yeah? And then when they turn up on Mars base, their actual mission is search and rescue and basically determine the nature of the disaster. And then what happens is the doctor, Rosamund Pike, says everything that's happened, everything that's horrible and nasty and going on behind, is going on behind this airlock and this set of lifts that goes down into the basement of Mars. And so, what's the first thing they do? They go into this lift, they go down, and they leave the fucking door open. Then there's all this, and you think, right, okay. The second thing is, when they find out the whole place is sealed off, except for this lovely atrium with all these people in it, their mission is to rescue them. And so the Rock comes in and goes, yeah, we're not going to do anything, we're not going to move any of these people out until we know everything's safe. And it's like, and he does that, and then when it all goes horribly wrong, it's just like, get everyone through the bloody hole. At the end, it's like, hang on. And then, what, weren't you supposed to be making sure everything was safe before all this kicks off? And then as soon as he does that, he's 5 minutes later, he's going, now I've got to kill them all. And it's like, what? The character just doesn't have a plot arc. He doesn't have motivation. He just has lines he has to say because otherwise the plot wouldn't happen. The story wouldn't move anywhere. 1 minute he's concerned about their safety. Next minute he's not concerned about their safety. And then after that he's got to kill them. Why? Because reasons. And the fucking virus is just the stupidest thing ever. If you're angry, you change shape and turn into a nasty person. If you're good, you turn into a superhuman. So what happens if you're a superhuman and you step on a Lego brick and go, oh, fucking hell, in front of a kid? Do you suddenly mutate into something horrible? I mean, none of it makes any sense whatsoever. And even worse than that, the action is tedious. That fight with the guy who's called Destroyer, who has approximately 3 lines in the entire film, and he ends up falling down into that bucket area. And he's standing there, and he's standing in this like bucket, and then this monster that's like about sort of Hulk covered in snot.
Where electricity has its own rules.
Yeah, electricity works.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah, electricity will electrify them, or it might sting them, or it might explode, or it might not do anything. And this monster drops down, and he can't find it. He can't find this monster in a 10-foot circle. And they try and make tension out of this. It's like, really? If this thing is as big as we see it 5 seconds later, there's no way it's hiding. It's like you're pretty much standing against it. And then the fucking thing with the monster with the eyes, when the one effective scare when it's like 2 sets of eyes, and then you suddenly see like 8 other sets of eyes open up in the dark, and I thought, actually, that's quite an effective moment. It's a shame that we've already been pre-warned what's happening, because we've seen the monster 3 times. We've had Reaper or Carl Urban or Judge Dredd 0.5 turning around going, he's coming your way, he's coming your way, he's coming your way. And all of a sudden, like, Kiddie Wink is standing there going, what was that? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. What's happening? And then he sees 2 glowing eyes in the dark, and he stares at them for a minute. A full minute, with a gun in his hand, looking at a pair of glowing eyes. I mean, that's how clumsily this film is, because it just goes, okay, we've got to have a shock. I haven't got time to edit this bit, so let's just film those glowing eyes for a bit longer. I'm sure we're supposed to do something here. And then the thing attacks him, and you're supposed to go, oh, I'm shocked. Oh, that was a shock. The only person who's fucking surprised is the guy who gets killed. In fact, I'm pretty sure the monster's sitting there going, what, he hasn't spotted me? What? I'm right here. Look, I've got glowing eyes. Hold on, maybe if I open up the other eyes. No, he's still not moving. Okay, maybe I'll open all my eyes. No, he's still looking at me confused. And
maybe I'll do a tap dance.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope, nothing.
No. He's really not reacting. Is he high? What's wrong with him? And
is my dancing really that shit? Come on.
Is it really dark in here? You know, is this thing on? Hello? I mean, and the thing is that the kid's supposedly on drugs that make him hyper. That's even worse. So it's like he should have had like the reactions of a twitchy squirrel, and yet all he does is stand there looking at it while the music goes. It's like, it's almost like they paid for the music, so rather than fade it out or intercut it with a kind of thing, they said, no, we've got to play this bit all the way through. So we'll just stare at these eyes until the music cue ends, then we'll have it attack him. And it's that kind of shit all the way through this film. It's like, even like when that guy who's lusting after Rosamund Pike, I don't actually know any of their names, which is probably a good indicator of how shit this film is.
Oh, when he's looking down her top.
But then there's that whole bit when he goes, oh, I'm not going for a molecular wall. And it's like, right, okay. And you keep mentioning it over and over again. So you're like, right, okay, so something's going to happen over the molecular wall. Can we just get on with it? And sure enough, he gets attacked by a dog. Then the dog runs away, and then he does exactly what the kid does. The dog runs away going, because he's seen something over your shoulder. And so what this bloke does is he looks and he goes, the dog's been run away. I wonder why the dog has run away. The dog is still gone. Come back here, dog. Where have you gone, dog? Oh, the dog's gone.
Jonesy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, it is. It is that Jonesy.
You read it out. It sounds like one of those kids' books. You know, fucking see Roger pick up the ball. See Roger throw the ball.
Yeah.
See the monster eat the man.
Yeah, see the monster eat Roger. But that's
see the dog disappear from the plot and never come back again.
Yeah, exactly. And see the 6 scientists. See the 6 scientists run. See the 6 scientists turn into monsters. See all 6 scientists be murderized. Ergo, no more monsters. So why do we suddenly have zombies everywhere at the last minute? There's just so much nonsense in this film, and then it goes into that first-person perspective, and they can't even get that bollocks right.
Exactly.
They fuck it up in the first 2 seconds. Literally, he walks up to the camera, He walks up to the camera and checks himself in the mirror, just in case you didn't realise it was Carl Urban. Like, just in case you didn't realise. And it's quite clearly Carl Urban standing on the opposite side of a hollow wall, looking through a hole. And the cameraman can't
Glory hole.
Yeah, exactly. The Carl Urban glory hole. Steady, people, steady. And it's like, the cameraman is watching Carl Urban and can't even match his movements. It's like, you can't even be bothered to do that right. Yeah, apparently it's like, it took 14 days to do this sequence. Really? What, to just stick a camera on the head of a bloke and just have someone with arms just in shot one around? It's just nonsense. The film's complete and utter nonsense. By the end of it, I couldn't give a flying fuck whether it had any relation to the film, to the game whatsoever. As far as I'm concerned, it didn't. I mean, it really didn't. And stupid. I mean, did they actually solve the problem in the end? Or did they just move everyone to Earth, everyone just conveniently dies off screen, the end?
The way I saw it is The Rock got sent back to Earth, and then Carl Urban sent a grenade back through to him to kill the portal.
What?
No, he got sent back to Mars.
Yeah.
Because they were on Earth fighting the stuff. And
Not you can tell, because the sets are the bloody same. It's just
they are exactly the same.
Because it is the same bloody set. I mean, the effects are appalling. The action is tedious. The acting is terrible. The direction is leaden. The story writing is just appalling. Some of the dialogue is just the worst I've ever seen. And that fucking thing with the guy who's the holy man, what was all that about? Really? Was he supposed to... Was that his thing?
Yeah.
Was that just his thing? He was holy? And it was like, okay, well then... Right, so here we go. We're going into the hell thing. Oh, no, we're not doing that.
But that was their opportunity, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I thought, they are actually going to do this. I must have misremembered this. And it was like, no, actually, no. No, they're not going to bother with that at all. It's just like... And then there was a bloke called Mac, and his name was some, sort of name that was kind of racistly long, like someone had just run their face across a keyboard. And they just called him Mac. And what did he do? He walks out. His entire line is to say that he's got some American bloke's idea of a Japanese name, who sort of like, what's your name? Hoya 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 hoya. It's like, really? Is that really Takashi? Oh, Mac. Right, okay, fine. And that was it. And then he dies. That's his entire plot. That's like that bloody Slipknot geezer from bloody Suicide Squad. What can he do? He can climb things. What's his lines? He hasn't got lines. He's dead. Oh, right, okay. Cheers.
Doug Jones was in this as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, at least he was hidden behind latex.
Yeah, he was. He was the Dr. Carmack's imp and the sewer imp.
Whatever.
They weren't imps, were they?
They weren't imps. They weren't anything. They just look like someone had a particularly bad bowel movement after a curry and just decided to mould it into arms because they were drunk. I mean, Jesus.
What characters should they have stuck in there, though?
They shouldn't. They should have just had one guy.
One guy, okay, but from the Doom perspective, like the bad guys that you're fighting in Doom, they're all against you, aren't they?
Yeah, but in the case of the game, it's really, really simple. If you take the Doom 3 model, he's a Marine in a base, which is a research base, which is opening a portal. They don't know where, and they open a portal to hell. He's out by the airlock when it all goes Pete Tong, comes back into the base only to find everyone is dead and the whole place is overrun with demons, and they're trying to open the portal back to Earth. So he has to basically destroy everything before shit reaches Earth. There's your plot right there. Then you do a John Wick style, raid style, shooty bang bang for 90 minutes, kill everything, jobs are good. I think I've just written Doom faster than they managed to, and I got it more accurate.
Well, the original Doom, there's like four acts to it, and kind of Act 1, you go through one part of the base to get to the portal, and then you actually go into like a hinterland where the next sort of base is kind of half half in our reality, half in hell. Then he goes to hell itself and kills the cyber demon. Or the Spider Mastermind, depending if you're playing Doom 1 or Doom 2, who is the mastermind behind the invasion. Simple as that. And I mean, the thing is, to even get this. I mean, in Doom, there are zombies, but it's all your former co-workers and fellow Marines who have come back from the dead and all now. They're not just going, let's just shuffle about in the dark. Yeah. They're all tooled up and, they're shooting at you. They're possessed. Yeah. Not, and you have a reveal of bigger and bigger monsters. I mean, the game is, very well structured to translate, actually.
Yeah.
Into a movie plot. As you say, you could do it a raid style or, John Wick's. This time you killed my Tamagotchi, you're going to pay.
Yeah. And, exactly. And that's the thing. It's not hard. It's not that hard. The idea that you're going to have some kind of additional sort of pseudo Ray Bradbury bollocks about ancient Martians and all that kind of rubbish. Why have that? And all that bollocks about 10% of the human genome is unmapped. Some say it's a blueprint for the soul. Really, that's your best you can come up with, is it? Right, okay. And we're in the future, are we? I mean, the technology for human genome mapping was around before the film even got made, and yet they still can't think of something more futuristic than, we don't know what it is. It could be the soul. Oh, fuck off. Really. Seriously. I mean, it's just insultingly stupid, really, isn't it? It's just that kind of level of, okay, you're not just being dumb, you're being willfully ignorant right now. And anyway, it's fine. We never have to watch it again.
Good stuff.
Ever. Right. So, you liked it, Elton. To the bunker with you. To the cyber demon bunker with you. But before you go, let's get some feedback out the way for this first episode of shitty fucking video games. It's only going to get worse. Feedback jingle.
Now put your hands up, here online, doing real fine. We're doing our podcast thing. It's called Blackdog, it's not like a joke. Is anyone there listening? What do you think of our show? Let us know by MP3 or email. Just get it to us, it ain't no fuss. We'll even read your Twitter rings. Cause if you like us or you hate us, send some feedback in. Got a geek and point to raise and put some feedback in. If you think my voice is sexy, put some feedback in. Man, we really like it if you put some feedback in.
Right, okay, so here we are with the feedback. Now, unsurprisingly, though we do have a couple of theories on this, but unsurprisingly, shit films bring out more feedback than good films. But we're also, Jim had a theory, didn't you, Jim?
Yes.
Which
was what it was.
It was the if maybe the availability of shit films being more readily available on things like Netflix meant that more people got to see them.
Well, that's it. People do want you to still pay for good films, even if they're old.
Yeah.
Bits of old bollocks you find them on YouTube and no one bothers taking them down because no one cares.
So maybe we'll find out next time, because obviously the Shitfinder General, Mr. Chris Johnston, has put up our next film on the Blackdog Facebook group because it's available free through Dailymotion. Great. Anyway.
Probably a big pile of Dailymotion as well.
Yeah, it is a full Dailymotion. Trust me on that one. Right, okay, so let's get on with the feedback. And the first bit of feedback is from Gary Madden. Gary Madden, Mr. Spock from the USS Blackdog, the science department. And he writes, dumb feedback. Greetings, various and sundry Black Doggerel and that satanic Martian mutant, Mr. Owl. Well, the hellish conditions at work and Netflix unreliable ARC transporter have conspired to thwart my feedback on the most of the Selfish Medcalf month. But somehow I managed to grab a copy of Doom. It has to be Doom, not Miller's Crossing, not Midnight Run, but Doom. Fuck you, fate. I guess there's nothing to be done though. I'll just slip in another tab or two of Romulan acid into Bones' Rocchigino and get down to business while he's hallucinating alligators. The problem is where to start with this steaming pile of anal polyp of a movie. I'm sure you will all have covered the ropey special effects. I guess one of the big things I'd say is that it's obvious that Doom wanted to be Aliens and not the video game theme waste of time that it really was. Right from the beginning we get the ragtag crew of Marines complete with sketchy imitation of Hicks and Hudson. They're being sent to a secure facility on a bleak planet at the behest of a shady corporate masters, and they're equipped with motion trackers, pulse rifles and grenades. And they even find a jar of alien bits in an abandoned lab. There's duct scenes, gun cams, and dozens of other half-baked attempts to ape the Alien franchise. Frankly, I was surprised they didn't encounter Newt and have a power loader fight. I think the best course of action is just to tick off a few random thoughts that came to mind while I watched. Number 1. Dear 1980s action flicks, well, I have found your soundtrack. Number 2. What the hell was the deal with Nevada? When the chopper lands near the Nevada UAC site, the team exits with their weapons drawn as if they're going to be attacked by a mob of mutant Elvis imitators. Is this just another Aliens imitation? Number 3. I may be wrong about this, but it seems like a little early in the exposition dump to be stating that the Ark was discovered on Mars and the UAC didn't know what it did. However, later in the film, they're using it to teleport themselves between Earth and Mars like a stellar Uber. Number 4. Kill cams. Fuck you, movie. Number 5. Early on, the facility on Mars is top secret. Then it's an archaeological dig site. Then it's a site for biological testing and weapons development. And by the end of the movie, there's a bunch of families with kids living on there who have to be evacuated. Did they roll a dice every time the subject of the purpose of Mars site came up with a script? 18. Okay, it's a coffee shop now. 10. Oh, it's a prison black site. Number 2. It's a daycare centre. Woohoo! Number 6. So, this is probably going to get me clubbed like a baby seal, but what the fuck was the temperature on the UAC Mars base anyway? Anyone else notice the severe case of headlights with the female extras? Sorry, I'll go back in my corner now. Number 7. When we're finally told the Japanese guy who's guarding the lobby is nicknamed Mac, I couldn't help but wonder if the name check was much more of a capably executed Mac and me joke. Yes, I'm joking. You can put away that straitjacket and cancel my reservation to the bunker is shut. Number 8. The line, what's the first thing Dad taught you? Personally, the first thing my dad taught me was don't touch anything. And maybe things are different when you're brought up in a Martian archaeological prison weapons coffee shop, though. Number 9. Lee's the space dock jury member on the cast, so I'll toss him this question. Does any space station ever have a sewer? Actually, the answer is yes. It's the Death Star.
Death Star.
Death Star has trash compactors in the sewage system. Anyway, number 10. After multiple firefights, the encounter with the satanic Martian mutant thingies, he tells the team, we're going in hot. If going in with guns, bombs and body armour doesn't qualify as going in hot, then what the fuck is this? Re-entering the facility equipped with arseless chaps and a ball gag and baby oil and a 2-foot-long pink dildo. I'm getting ahead. That's a better movie. Number 11. So the answer is there a devil gene? Really? All these poorly executed alien killing thingies once were people, and in order to become alien killing thingies, they had to have the devil gene. I think someone in the UAC's HR department needs to be fired because approximately 90% of their hires are latent psychopaths. Jeez, get a personality test or something. And number 12, finally, a quadruple fuck you for the first-person shooter POV cam. I'm going to stop ranting because there's no sense in keeping you good people awake into the early hours of the morning to read my rants about dropping plot lines and continuity errors. Suffice to say, I won't be revisiting this one unless I need to do something like start a fire. Live long, and when plagued by Martian zombie demons, remember the cheat code. Control, Alt, oh fuck off. Gary, Mr. Spock Madden. I'm going to put him in the undecided pile.
Bring him to the bunker.
No, I think he's safe from the bunker, to be perfectly honest.
If you want the proper cheat file for original Doom, though, it's IDKFA.
Ah.
That gives you everything, if I remember rightly.
And that was the code for the BFG in the film.
Mm.
IDFK.
ID choppers, if you want to give yourself a chainsaw.
Nice.
Another one I remember.
A massive wang.
There was God mode as well, wasn't there? Oh, God mode. I used to love God mode. But the whole film was a God mode. Doesn't matter what you did to old Carl Urban, he just got up and carried on ticking, didn't he?
He ripped his hand in half.
Yep.
And he just looked here and went, yeah, okay, never mind.
Yep. Yeah. Just bollocks to it. Anyway, thank you very much for that, Gary. Is it Gary? Greg? I've bloody forgotten. Gary. Of course it's Gary. Thank you very much for that, Gary. Good feedback, sir, and I think, I think the rest of the world is going to be on your wavelength for this one. So, let's move on, and we'll move on to our next piece of feedback. Who is that, Darren?
We have Fred Lubnow.
Ah, Dr. Scum.
Yes, Dr. Scum.
I'm sure he'd love this.
Oh, yeah. Just giving a quick skim, I can tell he absolutely adored it. He sent a mail subjected, we were all doomed this week. Hello, Black Dog crew. Hope all is well. Won't say much about this one since I'm sure you got a lot of feedback. What can I say? It's second viewing for me, and it sucks. First off, the movie probably came out 5 to 7 years too late if it really wanted to ride the Doom video game wave. While the film tries to make the extraction team similar to that of the mercenaries in Predator, this crew does not give you the impression that they are very professional. In fact, a few more than a little creepy. The military team in Doom reminded me of the ex-cons in Alien 3 than the guys from Predator. While not as bad as some of the films we were confronted with in December, it is pretty lame. There are a few interesting ideas, but that's about it. For example, the idea of uncovering ancient ruins in Mars with genetically enhanced beings is as good as a start, but they easily mess this up in the terms of execution and script. The only other positive note is at least the whole movie wasn't POV. Yeah. Who would be dumb enough to do that? Oh, yeah, Hardcore Henry.
Oh, that's a terrible film.
In conclusion, while the video game gives a few Lovecraftian nods, the movie does little of this. However, in Lovecraft's Through the Gates of the Silver Key, co-written by E. Hoffman Price, the consciousness of Randolph Carter, of Randolph Carter travels back to Earth, and as he passes Mars, he gazed at the Cyclopean ruins that sprawled over Mars' ruddy disk. Bear with me a minute. Were these the ruins mentioned in Doom? Highly unlikely. I'm Randolph Carter. Highly unlikely, and I'm Randolph Carter would have thought this film was a piece of crap as well. Thank you, Black Dog, and sort of looking forward to next week's film. Fred, Dr. Scum, Lubnow.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much for that, Dr. Scum. Yes. I don't think Randolph Carter would have bothered with this film, to be honest. He's got far better things to worry about. And if you want to hear more of Fred, Dr. Scum, shall we say, do go over to his WordPress site, which is lovecraftianscience.wordpress.com.
That's the fella.
There you go. I'm getting better at it. Brilliant. Yeah. What were the Marines trying to be? Were they trying to be Predator guys? Because they did have that kind of scuzzy, not quite professional bunch about them, but
I don't know. They're just a mishmash of every trope going, really.
Yeah.
You had the quiet one, you had the cocky one, you had the sporty one, you had the ladies one. Yeah.
The rapey one.
Well, people say ladies, people say rapey, you know.
Potato. Hey ho.
He did say it was a couple of years too late for the Doom to jump on the franchise, but I think Doom 3 was released in 2004, so you're kind of riding on that wave there.
Yeah, but video games have always been popular, but the thing is, I think it's only
they have to come out at the same time, surely.
Yeah, there's so many games and so many films coming out that they're easily lost in the mishmash. I'd be very, I think any game that comes out and a film comes out on top of it, I think you got a good chance. But yeah, I think after about 6 months, I don't think anyone's playing the game anymore, and the film's probably going to look dated compared to the latest things that are coming out as well. So it's all a bit, I don't know. I think video game movies on the whole are a bit of a hiding to nothing.
Do you think it's a generation thing with us where I think of Doom, I go back to classic Doom, where you can't look up, you can't look down, it's just left and right and walking forwards and walking backwards. That's it. No strafing or anything like that.
Well, the thing is, like, original Doom, kicked around for ages and ages and ages. I mean, there was countless imitators, but it had a big fan community of people involved, doing multiplayer games, their own levels. I mean, when Doom came out, I mean, it was still a cutting edge, as it were, game for many years. You know what I mean? Whereas now, sort of games come out, people finish them in 6 hours and take them back to game, and it's just like, forgotten. Yeah, and that's partly the industry's fault because they want to sell as many add-ons and a new game every year, and the last thing they want is people actually playing an old game from 2 years ago, not buying new ones.
Yeah,
but Doom was such a giant. I think Doom 3 didn't have the same impact, but it's kind of one of those things. Doom was kind of like the Beatles and the Elvis of in computer game terms.
That's right.
You'll never get that impact again.
Yeah. The first one and Wolfenstein, pretty much. That's when the film should have come out. It's right on the cusp of the tail end of the 1990s, and that's when it should have come out. And it could have had the shonkiest special effects you like, but you would have forgiven it a lot because it would have come out in concert with the media wave with it. But
yeah.
Oh well. Anyway, well, thank you very much for that, Dr. Scum, and we'll move on. Good feedback, and don't look forward to next week's film. Just don't. Right, okay. So moving on, Jim, your first bit of feedback, please.
Next we have Greg, Mr. Worf, newly promoted.
Yes, that's right. He's after seeing his military credentials, I've promoted him to Mr. Worf. So he's no longer the medical bay, but he is now a red shirt technically. So I may have inadvertently killed him. But anyway, go on, carry it.
There you go. Here, subject line simply Doom. Greetings, Darren, Lee, Jim, Elton, and the one and only Mr. Al. After my 2 weeks off, I was looking forward to returning to my feedback. And then I saw the next movie on the docket was Doom. 2005 disaster of a movie that's loosely based on the video game that was released in 1995. When this show first came out, I thought they might be able to work up a decent storyline for it, but after watching it the first time all those years ago, I realised I was so wrong. So very, very wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've never been a fan of The Rock, and this movie is just one more of the reasons he should never have left wrestling. And that was just my feelings before I watched it this time. After watching it again, I decided this movie was very much like Pacific Rim in a way. With Pacific Rim, you didn't watch it, you were expecting a great movie. You got to watch it for giant robots fighting giant monsters. And with this movie, you got to watch it just to watch muscle-bound men shooting up monsters with witty one-liners after every gun battle. I use the term witty in the loosest possible sense of the term here.
I think you should.
Now, I'm not saying that this show is good by any means. I'm saying you can't judge this on the same scale you would, say, like a movie like Pan's Labyrinth or any other movie of quality. It is just a stupid action sci-fi movie. Anyways, I'm not going to bore you with repeating what I'm sure everyone else has said about it. The special effects were poor for the most part, the acting was subpar, and don't get me started on the stupidity of the first-person shooter action sequence. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here. Now, maybe this movie got away without me raking it over the coals too much, simply because I hadn't got to watch a decent show in about 3 weeks. But trust me, I could only watch a show like this for the Blackdog. That about wraps it up for me. From my new assignment at the security station of the USS Blackdog, I wish everyone a good week to come. Cheers, Mr. Wolf, Greg Madden.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Worf. Yes, as you were, sir. Yeah. So basically, what he's saying is if you want to enjoy this film, you have to go off and be isolated from all other forms of media for nearly a fortnight, and then coming back. That's like Bear Grylls sort of like eating toadstools and mushrooms for like a month and then suddenly walking into a McDonald's and thinking it's Nirvana. This is like Five Guys. It's brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much for that, Mr. Wolf. Yeah, I've got to get used to that. I nearly said bones again. Anyway, thank you very much, and look forward to your feedback in the future. Right, okie dokie. So, yes, Elton, who do we have next?
Okay, my first piece is from Chris Johnson.
Ah, the Shipfinder General.
Yes. And the subject is, "We're doomed, Captain Mainwaring."
Don't tell him anything, Pike.
Hello, Lee, Darren, Jim, and Elton. It's been quite a while since I've had time to feed back, and I think I chose the wrong week to return. So let's get straight down to the first movie of shitty video game movie month, Doom, which really felt like a Poundland version of Resident Evil.
Oh, my
It's
word.
just a loud mess of a movie with not one likeable character in it, and it's not even that entertaining. And when it goes into first person, it reminds me of the early full motion video games you get on the Mega CD. So basically, it made me wish I played the game instead of watching the movie. Chris, smiley face. P.S. I bet you thought I would like it.
Yes, actually, I did. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I did as well.
Yeah.
I'm so lonely in the bunker.
You are. Well, Greg's sort of almost there. He's kind of standing on the threshold shouting through the letterbox, to be honest. But anyway, okay then. Well, thank you very much for that, Chris. And and thank you for your contribution on the Facebook group for next week's movie. I'm sure everyone's going to thank you so much for that one. Brilliant. Right, okay, well then, moving on. Let's move on to my next bit of feedback, and it's from I think second time he sent feedback in, but he's more prevalent on the Space Doc Jury site. This is Oliver Monk, and he writes, "We're doomed. We're all doomed. Hello, gentlemen of the Black Dog. I have returned for my second bit ever of feedback. Does this earn me a nickname?"
What's
Of course he does.
I don't know. Well, he's tried to offer one forward, but we do have a thing where we don't tend to respond to people picking their own names. But
Can't
exactly.
pick your own nickname.
no, he said you could
You
always
can't,
go
no.
with the Dalek Apologizer for my work on the Facebook page, Space Doc Facebook page. Although Lee totally missed the point of the Christmas special, for goodness sake. I'm not getting into that. Not discussing Doctor Who on this podcast. Thank you. Good night. We'll think of something. Dalek Apologizer, maybe, but maybe we'll come up with something else. We'll see what.
No. It has to be something special.
Yes.
Something we pick. Something that feels right.
Something will instill fear into the hearts of the criminal fraternity. Anyway, Ollie continues. I didn't have great expectations for this movie, but I had a day in the house looking after my babies, and Dave Probert mentioned it was on Netflix, so I figured why not. In many ways, I got what I expected, a daft film no matter which way you look at it. The first scene where the woman gets her arm cut off by a door makes it clear that this world is a very silly place, where nobody thought about health and safety. That's very true. Wouldn't a door just not shut? But anyway, yeah, there you go. There is a reason why this scene isn't replayed in shopping centres across the nation on a daily basis, for goodness sake. There were two main comparisons I thought for Doom. The first was Aliens Predator type. A fairly cardboard team of Marines, or whatever branch of military they were, get picked off one by one until only the designated hero is left standing. He valiantly stands up to the baddies, has a climactic one-on-one fight and wins the day. And that's what we get. I admit I was surprised that The Rock wasn't the designated hero, but I'll come back to him later. Carl Urban is probably the best thing in this movie, and he does most of the acting on view. The rest is a standard sort of Marine hut, 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 arr! No, dialogue that is totally unmemorable in exactly the way that the equivalent Marines in Aliens aren't. Aren't unmemorable, I think he means there. Sorry, I've misread the line. The other thing it reminded me of is the 1960s Doctor Who. Okie dokie. Jim, you need to step up for this one.
Go on, I'm all ears. This is going to be good.
Specifically, the base under siege trope, where the isolated scientific or industrial base is besieged by baddies and the defenders are overwhelmed one by one. This is where I return to The Rock, because in those stories, the person in charge invariably goes mad or gets possessed, or both. The Rock actually does a reasonable acting job when he appears to be going legitimately thinking that killing everyone is a good idea, but the emotion reaction is left to Urban, which is probably for the best. Okay, no further reference to Doctor Who? Well, fair enough. What I really don't get is this. The film is clearly fond of its computer game source material, though it's more reminiscent of Doom 3 than the original, with this first-person action deathmatch at the end, but it replaces the plot of the game with a scientifically bobbing story about mutants and extra chromosomes. If the more chromosomes give you superpowers, then why aren't we ruled by godlike hermit crabs with their colossal 254 chromosome pairs? Okay, nostalgia aside, there you go. See, he's a scientist. There you go, scientist. There's a key there. Okay,
DNA.
DNA. There you go, Ollie DNA Monk. Anyway, okay, nostalgia aside, I'm a fan of the original game and I like to play through it every couple of years. The plot of Doom in the game is also bobbins, but it's fun bobbins. And I'd much rather have seen Carl Urban descend into hell and kick the shit out of literal demons than this zombie movie by the numbers nonsense. Although the guy who dropped the axe onto his head did make me laugh. All in all, it's not a great movie or even a particularly good movie, but it's alright if you want this sort of thing and can't get a hold of Aliens or Predator on your DVD shelf. Thanks for the podcast and stuff, Ollie Monk. Cheers. Well, thank you very much for that, sir. Yeah, he knows about hermit crabs. There you go. The hermit scientist. Sheldor. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's something there. There's a hermit
station.
Yeah, the Decapod. Yeah, Ollie Decapod Monk. Well, we'll spitball it around. Don't worry, Ollie. We'll get
the Ollipod.
The Ollipod.
He is the Ollipod.
Ollipod. There you go. We're there. I think we've nailed it. There you go, Ollie. See, you asked for a nickname. You wish you hadn't won. There you go. So Ollipod. So Ollipod. Thank you very much for that. I can't believe I say something.
He's just sat there going, fuck, fucking hell.
Fuck. I want you to be the Dalek apologiser. It's so much cooler. What the fuck is an Ollipod? Sounds like something you use for photography.
I have changed the deal. Beware I do not change it further.
This deal's getting worse all the time. I also would like to use your cable TV. That was not part of the deal. And I've altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it further. This deal's getting worse all the time. I'd also like to use your laundry room. What? That wasn't part of the deal? I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it any further. This deal's getting worse all the time. I'd also like to use your bedroom. What? That wasn't part of the deal. I've altered the deal.
I won't have a wank in front of your big telly. Oh no, that's next week.
Yeah, I've altered the deal. Anyway, sorry.
I want you to wear a pretty dress and do a dance for me.
What? That wasn't part of the deal? I am altering the bargain. Pray I do not alter it further. This deal's getting... I'm going to leave it there. Anyway, thank you, Ollipod. Good feedback, and hopefully we will have forgotten your forgot your nickname by the next time you send in the next bit of feedback.
No, we won't.
No, we won't. Right, okay, so, Darren, who's your next bit of feedback from?
I'm just calling it up now.
Okay.
Honestly, I am.
Okay.
Amuse yourself just for a moment there. There we go. It is the man who I am the mouthpiece for. It is Cole the Bastard Hurley.
Ah, old and young
Yes,
back
indeed.
together again.
And he sends a mail that's entitled Click, Click, Boom, Boom.
Oh, dear.
Dear Black Doggers, first things first, I am perfectly okay with Darren being my mouthpiece. I mean, odds are I'm probably going to end up like him in 20 years anyway. So there's that. I don't know how to fucking take that.
Just
In the mouth.
Exactly. Who, Jim?
Big skirt from Percy Penguin.
Jesus Christ. Who rattled your cage? Anyway, so there's that. I don't really have anything clever or witty to follow that up with. So on with my feedback. I'm going to preface this with my experience playing the newest Doom game, Doom 2016. To say that I love that game is to say that Lee hates Prometheus, or that Jim likes M.R. James. As of this time of writing, Doom 2016 is my second favourite game, period. Not just shooter, not just PS4 game, second of all time, with only Wolfenstein, The New Order, beating it. Funny enough, Wolfenstein is also a shooter. And before anyone asks, my third favourite is the original Silent Hill. My fourth is Fallout New Vegas. And my fifth is Mass Effect 2. Back to Doom. Doom is essentially very near and dear to my heart. The day my dog died, I immediately sat down and started playing it. Just to get my mind clear of my mind off things and shoot as many screaming demons as I could in order to unleash my rage. The game itself is possibly one of the best stories ever in a game. Yes, I just said Doom. A Doom game has a great story. Fucking right me.
So hold on. So he cited what? Fallout, and he cited Mass Effect as his favourite games, and then cited Doom as having the best story.
Yeah, I know.
Hold on, just taking a moment out. Carry
Would you
on.
like an albatross moment?
No, it's fine.
Okay, right, fine.
It's fine. Just carry on. What the?
The writing is so good that the fucking Doom Marine, one of the biggest blank slates in video game history, has a definitive character. Now, all this leads me to talking about this week's film. With all that behind me, you would think that I would absolutely despise this film, right? Well, that's where you'd be wrong. This film has hit me at the exact right time. I've had a really fucking long day, and this stupid fucking movie is exactly the brand of loud, stupid, and brainless I need. I will say it right now. This is a deeply inept made movie that on any other night I would be decrying as a piece of shit it is. However, I am fucking tired of shit, and I just wanted to watch a dumb fucking train wreck in motion. Sadly, my love life isn't set to film, so I couldn't do that. But yeah, as far as adaptations go, they got the loud, dumb, and guns pretty accurate. Shame about everything else, though. Sincerely, Cole. P.S. Doom 1 was released about 10 months before I was born. Bastard.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how he got his nickname.
Yes.
Right.
Bastard.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much for that, Cole. I mean, I don't know about story being good, mentioning Mass Effect in the same reference and expecting to get away with that, but it's fine. It's your opinion.
That's poking the bear, isn't it?
Just. But the thing is,
you mentioned his dog died. You got to give him something,
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but my cats died when I was, and then I watched bloody Resident Evil for the fucking Blackdog. It didn't make me improve the bloody matters, did it?
You were on to a loser right from the word go there, weren't you?
Yeah, I know. It was bad week that week. No, anyway, sorry. I'm not making light of his dog dying. But yeah, I don't get Doom having a good plot. I really don't. Characterization of taking a blank slate and making it personalized by the actions of its hands and its animations, fair enough. But not a story, man. Jesus, really. Really? Fallout? Mass Effect? Really?
Jet Set Willy?
Jet Set Willy? Exactly. Fucking Manic Miner? Street Fighter? There's so many stories.
Connect 4. Huh.
Downfall. Anyway, no, that's I'm talking about the game. I'm talking about the game.
So they did that, didn't they?
Yeah. Anyway,
That's from
Hit the
Filmy.
losers.
Spider,
yeah, giant snail. Yeah. Anywho, he says, moving swiftly on from that one. Well, thank you very much for that, Cole. Yeah. Looks like you're not alone in the bunker there, Elton.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
And it sounds like he's bringing his PS4 as well, so you'll be all right.
Sweet.
So, anyway, brilliant. Well, moving on then. Thank you very much for that, Cole, and speak to you soon, I'm sure. And we move on to Jim. Jim, who do you have next?
Next we have old friend of the show, Whispering John Campion.
Ah, yeah, he's like Whispering Bob Harris, isn't he? Well, nice. But anyway, yes, what does he have? Yeah, that's good. That's a good name. Whispering John. It makes him sound like some kind of blues singer.
Yeah, or assassin.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, well, that's it. Motion carried.
We're doing well on the nicknames tonight.
Yeah, John's probably sitting there going, I wanted to be the Octopod. I wanted to be the Ollie Pod. Anyway, sorry, carry on, Jim.
Anyhow, John writes, this week's film, starring Carl Urban, Dwayne Johnson, Rosamund Pike, has a score by Clint Mansell. Amazing, right? Well, no. Because 2005's Doom, brackets Netflix, a succession of largely forgettable characters played by people you'd rather enjoy watching in better films, play stereotypes pulled from the big book of space soldiers. They're dragged through grates in scenes that make you wish you watched Aliens. They say things that slightly remind you of the colonial Marines and make you wish you'd watched Aliens. Dwayne Johnson, here still credited as The Rock, gives no inkling of the starry sparkle that makes him such an appealing presence in the okay films he somehow makes you end up watching. He somehow makes you end up liking. Pike and Urban are given far too little to do by a by-the-numbers script. A segment shot in first-person perspective, presumably a nod to the eponymous game, drains what little tension exists because we know what the stakes are in video games. Back to the last stave, start again. It also feels slightly icky, if not downright irresponsible, as the character mows down opponents with a thumping metal soundtrack. Hey, this is exciting, the film says. No, it isn't, we murmur, and back away nervously. There's also a weirdly out-of-place hand-to-hand / WrestleMania-style battle between Urban's character and The Rock, neither whose characters' names I can be bothered to remember, presumably because they'd paid The Rock, so why not? I think it's a weird thing to put in a film that's all gunplay, based on a game that's all gunplay, because you've employed a wrestler in one of the roles. That's why not. There's an in-joke that there's a character called Dr. Carmack, John Carmack, the lead programmer of the Doom game, but there's also one about the BFG, Big Freaking Gun, that features in the game. I nodded at those references. Even Mansell's soundtrack succumbs to the enjoyment vacuum of this film, a welter of techno-metal that makes you question whether this is the same composer that gave us Requiem for a Dream and Moon. The 2 stars this has on Netflix seems generous.
Yeah. Well, I will say that it did. Netflix predicted for me that it would have 1 star, so I think Netflix is getting my measure at last. And then they sent me an email saying, "Oh, by the way, After Earth, you might be interested in this." It's like, you don't know me at all. Anyway,
After Earth, the ear fart.
Yeah, oh, God,
an anagram of.
Nice, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that, John. Yeah, I think you summed it up again nicely. Thank you. I think again we should just go straight to your feedback and just go home. It's easier. But thank you, sir. And yeah, thank Christ it was on Netflix. That's all I can say. I don't feel so bad about making people watch it.
Just move on.
Yeah,
just
move on. Let's just move on. Right, okay, Elton, who do you have next? Thank you very much for that, John. Thank you.
Jack Woodgate.
Jack Woodgate. There you go. And
that's it.
There you go. And what does he have to say?
The subject is, we're doomed. Dear Lee, Darren, Jim and Elton, perhaps it's because, thanks to you, I've seen some utter shit like Troll 2 and Birdemic. Or perhaps it's because I don't have any thoughts on the source material. I would like I would on something based on a book or comic I liked. Or perhaps it's just because I had such low expectations. But perhaps not liked this film, but it wasn't offensively bad as, say, Jaws 4 or even Van Helsing. Mm-hmm. The acting was terrible. There were too many attempts at jump scares and fake outs. The final battle between Reaper and Sarge was just bloody silly. But it didn't make me want to claw my eyes out. I suppose it put me in the mind of these cheap alien knockoffs that seem to weigh down the shelves of my local video library. In that frame of mind, if I watched it around my mates with a few beers, I might have enjoyed it. Which is a bit of a shame because I was looking forward to giving this something of a good kick in. All the best, Jack.
Sounds like he's standing with Greg, staring through the letterbox of the bunker, to be honest.
I think he's in. I think he's got at least one foot in.
I think he is. I think he's at least wiping his feet on the mat inside.
Oh, yeah, I've opened the door, and he's there. And he's just taken a step in.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, then, well, thank you very much for that, Jack. I wonder if everyone's going to be quite so positive next week. Right, let's move on to our last bit of written feedback, and that is Doreen Kelly, Keldor the Mighty, and she writes, Doom. Hi. Well, I watched Doom. It wasn't too bad. I don't really play computer games other than phone apps, so I just watched this as a film. As far as I can tell, you should watch this film if you want devilishly reanimated zombie-type humanoids, overtones about morality being coded into DNA, obviously unsupported breasts, and Semper Fi motherfucker tattoos on display. Bye for now, Doreen, a.k.a. Keldor. Well, there you go.
Short and sweet.
Short, sweet, summed it all up. Thanks very much for that one. Well, thank you very much for that, Doreen. Yeah, Semper Fi. Yeah. What does that
Unsupported breasts.
Unsupported breasts. Which
That's
is
a
ironic.
Great name for a band, isn't it?
Well, I was going to say, it might even be an episode title for next week, to be honest. But anyway. Right, so that's that. So now we move on to our MP3 feedback. And our first bit of MP3 feedback. Thank you very much for that, Doreen, by the way. And thank you to everyone who's written in. Our first bit of MP3 feedback is from Murray the Pieman Christensen. And this is what he has to say about Doom.
Hello, Lee, Darren, Jim and Elton, and possible extra wildlife, owls and whatnot. Murray the Pieman here to feedback on Doom. Now, Doom on paper is a film I should enjoy, as you'll find out if I do manage to get the watching, and feedback in for rubbish video game movie month, you'll notice that I have a very, very high tolerance for really awful films. And it's something I used to enjoy. I think I've mentioned before, I used to actually go to the video shop and deliberately rent films that looked cheap and rubbish. But the thing is, it's not easy to make a rubbish film, as the people who made Sharknado will say. You make it too nod and wink, we're just making something stupid, and it looks awful. You go too much the serious side and you lose the fun. It's actually a fine balance where you've got to at least pretend you're trying to make a legitimate film. And on these sort of criteria, Doom should be good, because they clearly thought they were making something vaguely proper, at least in sort of action film kind of genre. But what comes out just seems to leave me cold. I think the problem is they're not having enough fun with it. And that's the end point. With all these rubbish films or your big action blockbusters, it's got to be fun. You've got to be kind of cheering on the goodies as they charge through, and enjoying the sort of over-the-top action. And in this one, I don't think the action goes over the top enough. And yet, there's a first-person scene which is good, but goes on too long. But I think for a lot of it, someone decided to take it seriously, and I honestly think from this, someone thought they were making the next Aliens. They thought, you've got this sort of base under siege idea. Now, I mean, I could go on about how they've gone away from the main plot of the film, but there's not the game. There's not that much plot in it. I mean, I think when I first played Doom, I was 13, 14, and I thought it would make an awesome film then. But we found out that 13 and 14-year-old me didn't know much. And I think this is it. When you look at the plot of Doom, it's basically a guy wakes up and kills everything. And obviously that's never going to make a film. What I do slightly miss was something that was nice in the game Doom, which I played recently and actually still holds up remarkably well as a fun thing to play, was the sort of slow transition of the environments from being your sort of sci-fi Martian base to something sort of more hellish and medieval. You start getting sort of altars and that sort of thing cropping up, and that's what I think, putting the whole thing into a very science fiction sort of area with only a few hints of hell means that you lose that supernatural element, which actually was quite fun in Doom, and I don't think that helps. But ultimately the film makes the cardinal sin of taking itself far too seriously, and I think this is the issue, that when they could have gone over the tops, there was someone sitting there going, rein it in guys, we're making a proper film here, whereas they should have gone, yeah, why not, let's go for it. And as a result, the thing seems, I'm not even going to say cynical, it seems lackluster, and yet it lacks any of the joy or fun that something like Commando or the classic, which I'm sure you've all enjoyed, Shadow Warriors, Escape from Devil's Island, starring Hulk Hogan, and indeed many other rapper-fronted vehicles. Something like Blade, even. You enjoy the absurdity and you have a good ride along with it, but you're not really taking it seriously. And deep down, no one really thought they were making a work of art. Whereas in this one, I think deep down, someone was saying, "No, this is a serious film. We're making legitimate cinema here. Look at our budget." And I think that's where the film fails. So yeah, it didn't do much for me. I'm hoping, because I have seen all of the films on this list, and so I'm hoping when I revisit films like Mortal Kombat and Dead or Alive, I'll have more of the fun I had with them when I watched them first time round. So all remains for me to say is, do keep up the good work. I'm always listening and enjoying the podcast, and I hope to feedback on the next one. So until then, bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much for that, Murray. Thank you, Mr. Pie Man. And thank you for listening as well. I think you've actually hit the nail on the head there. I think the idea that it takes itself far, far too seriously and is far too po-faced actually is the element that kind of drains it of any life. Because as we mentioned earlier on, if it was something like, The Raid or what was the other one we mentioned, John Wick, where it just kind of goes, right, time to be batshit crazy and we don't care, or Crank or something like that, and just goes, right, fine, this is what this film is. It's just death and explosions and zombies and body horror and hell. Then yeah, I think you might have had more fun with it. But yeah, I think that's a very astute observation. So thank you very much for that, sir. Good work. And yeah, like I say, I think you hit the nail on the head. But yeah, I'm not so sure about Shadowhunters, mind you, or whatever that thing was. I've never even heard of that thing. But I do agree with the things like Blade and that sort of malarkey, where you sort of just watch it and just go, yeah, everyone's just going out for fun. This is just a fun, let's see what silly crazy shit we can throw on screen and make stick. So yeah, actually very good point, very good observation, and good feedback, sir. So yeah, maybe speak to you next week for Dead or Alive. Yeah, I suspect you might be looking on that less favourably than you used to. Anyway, but let's move on. So our next bit of feedback, thank you again, is from Pete Stacker Hammond. Yes, out on his little quad bike out in the moors, frosty moors, with his new dog. And yeah, let's hear what he has to say about Doom.
Oh, fucks, this is Stacker Hammond leaving feedback for Doom. First time I've done feedback in a dog's age, but you'll see why in a minute. Yeah, so Doom was a video game, is a video game, and it always should be a video game. It's a fucking awesome video game. I've loved it since its inception back in 93, I think it was, and I've owned a copy of it on every single console or PC I've ever had. up to and including the latest one, which is fucking brilliant, quite frankly. The movie, I think came out in 2005, was based on Doom 3, which came out on your Xbox and all the rest of it in about 2004. And when it was first announced that they were making this film, I thought, it could be interesting, this could be good. If they're going to base it on the 2004 iteration of Doom, then yeah, this could be quite good, because even for a first-person shooter, it didn't have that horrific a story. Yes, it had the silent protagonist, which is always good for your lead character in a movie. But I thought, well, the actual whole thing of opening up the portal to hell and all that kind of gubbins, that could be very good. And then it was announced who was going to be in it. You got the always reliable and excellent Carl Urban. You've got The Rock. You've got Dexter Fletcher. Rosamund Pike, for fuck's sake, is in this dreck. I've given away a spoiler on how I feel of the film. Yeah, basically the film is absolute fucking shite. Even as a action, in inverted commas, flick, it's pretty shoddy. But when you consider, I mean, I remember the hype back in when they were making this bloody thing. They were saying what they were going to do with it, and they were going to follow the story. And I'm thinking, oh, good, this could be very good. They completely and utterly discarded the story of Doom 3. You know, it's just, what? It was a fairly flimsy story, but you've completely, after saying in all the press for it they were going to follow the story of the game, they completely and utterly discarded it. There's far too many people in it. In Doom, there's only one person, you, and you're silent. So they kind of had to get other people in, I suppose. But it was just rubbish. They completely discard the story of Doom, which, as I say, opening up the portal to hell and all the rest of it. They made it genetic experiments, which was nonsense. Then you have this weird kind of incestuous brother-sister relationship between Carl Urban and Rosamund Pike, which was a bit odd. And then Dexter Fletcher gets his wheelchair stuffed up his arse, which is a bizarre twist as well, because in the video game, the Pinky Demon, well, those of you who'll know who've played it, is a half kind of crocodile ox with metal legs sort of thing. So why they had to make it Dexter Fletcher with a wheelchair, I don't know. As for the monsters themselves, there are hundreds in the game and in the games. They had loads to choose from. They ignored most of them. In fact, pretty much all of them. And those that they did use, they fucked around with and made shite. And then you have this bizarre first-person shooter section at the end where Carl Urban throws his toys out the pram and goes for a bit of a wander around a space station. No, it's just shite. Absolute fucking dreck, this film is. And it comes to something, I mean, the CG in it is pretty bloody shoddy, and I would say the game's graphics are better than the CG in this. Even the bloody Rock can't save it. That's saying something. Anyway, that's my 2 penneth on this fucking abomination. Catch you later, kids.
Thank you very much for that, Stacker Hammond, sir. Yes, you are telling us nothing we didn't already know. I mean, it's just shite film. I mean, it's interesting about the Pinky Demon, by the way, because I thought that looked fairly on the money, and then I realised that he didn't have a wheelchair stuck up his arse, nor was it formed from the body of a member of Press Gang. But anyway, yeah. But no, you are absolutely right. It's complete, utter shite.
Oh, it is, yeah. I like the way that he spoiler warned his feedback.
Spoiler warned his feedback. Well, you know, I think that's fair enough, isn't it? You know, he was coming up with all sorts of bit of back history and everything, telling you what was going on.
He's right, though. There are about 1 million different types of demon and monster in the games.
Yeah.
And yet they screwed it up.
Yeah. But the thing is, you know, even with things like, you know, how many, you know, was it bloody, when did Cement Horizon come out? I mean, that had a portal to hell, and they managed to do that without even, without much effort at all. And they managed to do it. And it's like, even that looked more like a bloody Doom adaptation than this.
Well, I said, this really is. It's a Resident Evil adaptation.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, who else mentioned that? Someone else, one of the feedbackers mentioned it, didn't they?
Jack, I think.
Yeah.
It's just such a bad idea. Anyway, the funny thing is, there's enough people just willing to forgive it by just saying, well, it's just of its time, and I just watched it, and I was up for something silly and dumb, and I'm wondering whether or not this is going to be a kind of ongoing excuse as we move into the sort of nether regions of this season.
Well, I think there's a pattern to people who have played the game and do know what Doom is like, and we're going, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
Whereas people who don't have the connection to the game are going, oh, well, it's some sub-alien space nonsense. Certainly, I mean, from a technical point of view, there are we have watched them, far worse made films.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of those things is where if you know the source material, you realise that's what makes it abominable.
Yeah, I suppose
it's the point missing, you know what I mean, rather than the technical demerits of it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing, isn't it? I think we mentioned this before in another episode where it's like, you could say that none of these films are as bad as Birdemic, but in many ways they're worse than Birdemic because in the case of Birdemic is a case of, a lack of experience and a lack of knowledge and a lack of budget, whereas these things shouldn't be bad. They have no excuse. So does that make them worse? Because
I don't know if it's more insulting, really.
Yeah.
Than anything.
Yeah.
I think with this particular genre, and something we can maybe have this as a yardstick for future episodes, is the fact is you're supposedly making a movie to cash in on an already successful property.
Yeah.
And if you can't actually deliver the elements that make that property successful as a game in your film, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
It's like, I want to do a Sherlock Holmes film. It's set in the Old West. Holmes is a woman, and he raises cattle.
Yeah.
Hang on.
And doesn't solve
That's
crimes.
Little House on the Prairie, not Sherlock Holmes, you dickwad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and we'll really throw it out there. Holmes doesn't solve any crimes, doesn't wear a hat, doesn't have a deer stalker, and in fact, Dr. Watson isn't a doctor. He's in fact an assassin. Dun, dun, dun. And then you go, well, that's nothing like Sherlock Holmes, and they all go, yeah, but it's a reimagining. Stop, think outside the box, square. Yeah. Anyway, no, I think you're right. There should be a yardstick for this where we just turn around and say, okay, is this piss poor, because of lack of resources or because of lack of talent? There's
lack of sense.
Or lack of sense, exactly.
Yeah, sense and direction. And did they actually look at the original stuff that they were supposed to be working from? Did they have a Bible to work from?
But that's the thing. It's like id Software were actually involved in its production. That's what really, really grinds my gears. It's like it's actually the people who made Doom.
Well, they should have put their foot down.
Well,
Maybe they didn't have the balls to.
Oh, I don't know. They had all the money. I mean, they had the property. I mean, you got to turn around and say at some point they've got some kind of input, haven't they? Or they
depends on the contract, though, isn't it?
I suppose
whether it's a case of there's your money, ka-ching, bye-bye. Your name goes on the credits, but you don't actually have any input as to what the hell goes on.
That's very
you've
true.
wavered that.
Yeah, that's very true. Anyway, thank you very much again, Pete. Thank you for the feedback, sir. And maybe we'll hear from you next week. Maybe not. We'll have to just wait and see. But yes, thank you for your feedback. And I figured you'd feedback because you did express your love for Doom when the new game came out. So yes. Right, sorry to put you through that, really. Anyway, so let's move on. So our next bit of feedback is from Doug Cartwright. Yes. And we shall see what he and his wife thought of this particular film. It's Laura. Or is it Lindsay? Oh, God, I've done it again.
Lou.
Fucking idiot. I'm such a knob. Such an absolute knob. I'm the kind of guy who just eats sweets from a dead man. Anyway. Yeah, so let's hear what Duck and Lou have to say about this. After all this, she's probably not even in the feedback.
Hello!
Hello!
This is our feedback for Doom.
Yay!
That was not good. That was really not good.
Well, I liked it,
We're not doing this again.
but I like awful films, so it's fine.
You've got 2 of this month's films in your collection already. Whoop, whoop. Oh, God's sake, can't believe you own 2 of them. But this film, honestly, it tries to be so many different films. It's like Aliens. I know Resident Evil came out after, but Resident Evil. There's just so much in there that's exactly the same as those.
That's because, obviously, from your point of view, you've not seen it before.
No.
So, obviously, you to say that is pretty much standard, to be fair. Obviously, I've seen it a fair few times, and it's only now do I ever pick up, like now that I've seen Alien and all that shite, and Resident Evil, do you actually pick it up and go, oh, actually, do you know what? There are some similarities here, but...
I can't believe you just said Alien shite after saying you like this.
I don't like Alien, do I? I don't like the whole lot. Don't like Predator either, so, you know.
And, yeah, reminded me a little bit of Predator as well.
Yeah, I do like a VP. Weird.
I'm going to have to pause this for a minute while I beat her up. So, this... I'm not going to call it a monstrosity. I think it's not as bad as some of the films that we've seen. This film has a lot to be sorry about. The only good things in this film, I think, are Carl Urban, who acts well in just about everything I've seen. Well, I like in just about everything I've seen him in. The Rock, obviously, love The Rock. As sci-fi goes, it's really poor.
Yeah. The CGI was... There was some CGI in it that was to be desired.
Some of the CGI just reminded me of the computer game. Some of the effects from the actual early Doom. I mean, it was that badly done.
Maybe they like cropped it, like cut it, like a copy and paste.
Just copy and paste.
Copy and paste.
try and save some of them. But they could have saved more of the money by cutting that film in half and making it, a TV movie. It's dreadful.
Yeah. No.
There aren't many redeeming features, I'm not going to lie. Dexter Fletcher popping up was a nice twist. I like Dexter Fletcher. Shame it was only half of him in the film, but...
I just thought the CGI for that was dog shit.
Oh, with half his body missing was poor, yeah.
Yeah, or it was attached to his wheelchair. I think that was dog shit.
Yeah, not great.
First person shooting thing, I like that.
Yeah, that's not done. That certainly wasn't done very often back then. It's done a little bit more now, like Hardcore Henry. But I thought that was quite a nice touch. Brings you back to the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does make you go a bit dizzy though, doesn't it?
A little bit.
You watch it when he's like going around corners and it's like quick moving. It's like, whoa, I'm here still.
The gun from the actual game that was nice.
Yeah.
But again, too much like Aliens, Predator, Alien. Resident Evil. The monsters are supposed to be monsters, and half of them were just like Resident Evil zombies, or zombies from any generic film where they get shot out. I mean, there was no real.
Yeah, and they weren't monsters, were they? They were mutations.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things, isn't it? Where
you said you're the guy in the wheelchair. His was the only mutation that was completely different to the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean, he turned into a manatee.
Yeah, odd that.
I thought it was a bit strange. The rest of them were quite frightening. He turned into a sea creature.
No, the rest of them were quite similar looking as well.
Yeah.
So they were all giant, gangly, whatever.
They were quite dark and bloody, and he was pale white and
no eyes. Didn't notice a nose. 1 years.
Maybe we were looking a bit too closely into this.
Yeah.
Mind you, there was nothing else to distract us from that kind of shit because the film was so rubbish. The only good point, and Lou loved this. This blew Lou's mind.
Oh no.
It did, didn't it? His name is Reaper, His nickname's Reaper because his surname's Grim. She loved that. Grim Reaper, fantastic.
My mum was a bit blown.
He's blown.
It went.
But yeah, I mean, the only couple of bits that actually kept us in the film was that, and the fact that Dexter Fletcher turned into a narwhal.
I don't even know what one of them is. So I'm not even going to go there.
I would have said things can only get better, but next week is DOA. What the fuck?
Yay!
Oh, don't cheer that. You've got that in your collection.
It's got like fit women in it, lots of tits. Swear to God, I'm a bloke.
And on that sweaty bombshell, thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Fucking hell, fire. Seriously. Not only do you lord up fucking Doom, but you slam Predator, which is, okay, fine. There's an argument to be made if that sort of movie isn't for you. But then you take Alien out for a kick-in as well. What the fuck? And then you admit you own Doom and you own DOA. Well, when I said I got your name wrong and I completely I got it wrong, I don't care. I don't. Just no. Just no.
You have no name.
Yeah, into the bunker with you.
Hang on, no.
Too late, mate. You rough with the smooth, my friend. Wow, just kidding hell, fire.
Well, people are allowed not to like certain films and to like other films. That's a thing that I think works well with the Black Dog.
Yeah. I mean,
but there are exceptions.
Gags aside, you're right. But fucking hell, fire. You can't look at something like Alien or Aliens or Predator and go, oh, that inspired Doom, did it? Oh, I like Doom. Right? What? That's just demonstrably wrong. Wow. Well, thank you, Lou. And thank you, Duck. Really looking forward to your feedback next week, I tell you. I really am.
Well, seeing that they own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be... I'm going to be interested in that, definitely.
Jeez. Own it. Own it. Right. So, it's time to have our last bit of MP3 feedback this week. And it is Drew and Tracy. And let's hear what they had to say about this film.
This film did it for me in the first 5 minutes. You had Cole Urban and The Rock. I was like, get in.
Diggity, diggity.
I'm quite happy with this.
Yeah, until we realised it was a bit rubbish.
Yeah. To be fair, it started off all right. I was quite enjoying it. At one point, you turned around to me and went, "You've got your arms folded, you're frowning, you look thoroughly fucked off." And I'm like, actually, I'm quite enjoying it. And then 10 minutes later, I was like, scrap that. This has turned to shit.
Why are bras not worn in the future? Because all the women had pokies, didn't they?
You can't help having a pokey.
Yeah.
Right? It might be cold where they are. You can't help that. But what I will say is, when they were walking around and their boobies were jiggling, as I did say to you, my mum would be going, "You need to tighten your straps there, darling." Right?
Yeah.
Tighten your straps, your boobs are wobbling.
Okay.
So good to see Rosamund Pike in this.
Yes.
Nice British actress, even though she keeps putting on an American accent.
Doing a bit of a Dexter Fletcher.
Yeah, not quite sure why. I kind of get a bit of a feel for her movie genres. The World's End and now Doom. There's a bit of some kind of world coming to the end. But you did
apocalyptic
say,
thing
she should have gone to the Winchester and had a pint.
I would have waited till it all was blown over. Yeah.
So for me, there was too much of a crossover in this film between Alien
Oh, it's definitely had the alien thing going on, didn't
Walking
it?
Dead towards the end,
oh, yes,
to be honest.
definitely, yeah. It was kind of a mixture of genres, wasn't it?
It was
Of
just
like,
a bit crazy.
Yeah. Someone's like, we need to do aliens with the Walking Dead and, it'd be good. And no, it wasn't the sum of its parts, was it?
So all of a sudden, it kind of, it was like gameplay, wasn't it? It was like at the the view of like the gameplay
for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is how it's going to end now, and they should have had like a thing at the beginning of this film saying that the first 100 minutes not in gameplay like they do.
That was like the bit when you play a game and it's like a load of stuff at the beginning where it's just like,
oh, this looks so cool.
Nothing to do with the game,
and
then they put you in the gameplay and you're like, oh, okay, it's not as good as the rest
they used
of
to
stuff.
advertise the Harry Potter films and it was like, oh, whatever.
Not actual gameplay.
Yeah,
yes, exactly. That's like this film, isn't it? Yeah. I think this film was rubbish. Yeah, not very good, really.
It was all right. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting. Well, I wasn't quite sure.
It wasn't as bad as I was expecting. No, I must admit that.
It was all right. The end fight, right? So you've got like Sarge and John,
Carl Urban,
John, yeah. And like they're having a bit of a rock out of a fight, right? Rock, pardon the pun.
Yep.
And Sarge has got like a fist full of metal in it. He's wrapped that. He's wound that.
Not the metal wire thing,
and he's
stuff,
like knocking the fuck out of like Carl Urban's face.
McCoy, yep.
And there's like not a mark on him.
No.
I'd be looking out my backward view if like someone had
the first time that punched
me.
you, you'd be down for like a month.
I'd be looking at my ear hole, to be fair, and like there's not a mark on him, and I'm just like, this is when it starts pissing me off. It's like, really? No, all right, okay. You didn't enjoy it. I thought it was all right. I didn't have any expectations of this, so it kind of didn't shatter anything.
I don't think you've even played the game, have you?
No.
I can remember playing it, like
really?
N64, I think, Doom 64.
Let me just tell you. Girls don't play games like this. Really? No, they don't.
Yeah. No,
but
it's rubbish.
Right. No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
I will just say one thing, though. I bet in this film, when Rosamund Pike got the casting thing, and she was like, damn, Carl Urban's going to be my brother. Can't snog him. Especially when he's carrying her out at the end. You're just like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Anyway, I liked it. It was all right.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Leave it there then.
You're like looking at me like you're a fucking freak. Leave it there.
Okay.
Cracking. Bye.
Ta-da.
What is wrong with people? Really? Look. Well, there you go, Elton. See, you've now got Lou and Tracy in the bunker.
There we go.
There you go. That's a party in a bag right there.
Quick squirt from Pokey Penguin.
The quick squirt from Pokey Penguin.
Oh dear.
Call back. Brilliant. Well, thank you both, Drew and Tracy, for that. Nice to hear you back on the cast. Yeah. Obviously, the secret to success is to basically stick Carl Urban carrying ladies around while the Rock stares on, looking manfully. That'll do it. Job's a good one. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, you kind of lost for words now, aren't you?
Well, you can't go anywhere with that, can you? Well, you just go like, what? That's your gold star for quality. Fucking great. Okay, well, next week's film is gonna be fucking Oscar worthy for most blokes in the audience. I mean, but no. I suspect next week's gonna just be nothing but rage.
I didn't notice the bra thing. I really didn't.
Funny enough, neither did I. And it was only when I looked at the pictures today while I was looking on the Wikipedia and then later on the IMDb, and it was suddenly like, as I'm hearing all the feedback, I'm thinking, oh yeah, chilly set. But notice how all the girls noticed though.
Oh yeah.
But But if blokes brought that up, that would be all sorts of wrong. But I suppose that's probably right, really. Anyway,
let's sidestep that one.
Let's just move around that. We've got enough of a storm ahead with the next film. So yeah. So there you go. Thank you to everyone who sent in feedback. Thank you to all your MP3 feedbackers and you written feedbackers. Much appreciated. And apologies to anyone who watched this film and thanks to the deluge of feedback didn't get in time before the doors shut. And I think that may be the case this time as well. Because next week, Shit Video Game Movie Month continues with a film which I'll confess I got as a sort of escape from Cartoon Network bargain basement storage cupboard thing, last minute ditch grab running out the door. So like when they have like when people leave and they sort of immediately raid the stationery cupboard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in Cartoon they had like a cupboard for prizes, and and not all of them got claimed, or the competitions never went ahead. And sometimes people have said, this toy was going to kill a kid, for that because it's been reclaimed and all this kind of thing. So every now and again, they would clear these store cupboards out, and people would just come along and go, "Oh, I'll have that," I'll have a bit of that. And on the last or the second to last day for me, I went past, and sure enough, they were doing exactly the same thing. And I grabbed hold of this DVD, which still had the $2.99 sticker on the front. And it is DOA, Dead or Alive, based on the Fighty video game, which then later dropped all pretense of being a fighting video game, and just decided to go for beach volleyball, which just seemed to be Japanese ladies in bikinis lounging around a desert island.
Is this the first game that had the wobbly boob thing?
Yeah, this is the one with which... Oh, God, this is the one which actually caused people who make Maya to create something called jiggle effectors.
Right.
Christ. And yes, you do. If you open up Maya, you will find that under the Deformers tab in Dynamics, there is a thing called jiggle effectors. And it does exactly what it says on the tin.
That's amazing.
Yep. Anyway, so, so this is a film with Holly Valance and Jamie Presley, who you may remember from My Name is Earl, and is it Mei Ling, who was in Sin City?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so all in all, there's some ladies in it, and they do some fighting, and that's all I can really tell you, because I watched it. I watched it for the first time earlier this week, and I still don't really know what I've just watched. Well, I do. I know what I watched, and I think 13-year-old boys know what they watched. But wow, just I put this on because I thought, I've got the DVD here, and now I'm wishing I put something else on.
Right.
So there you go. That's my feelings about it. Have you seen this before, Jim?
No, I've not. I'm quite proud to say.
Well,
neither am I familiar with the game.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, the first Dead or Alive was a fighting game on the original Xbox, the big black one with the big plate controllers, which came out with Halo. Have you played the game or watched the film before, Elton?
Neither, because I didn't have an original Xbox, and I'm not huge into fighting games, so never really turned up on my doorstep. The film, no, I'd imagine 15-year-old me would be spaffing his wad all over this.
Yeah.
38-year-old might just be looking at going, she's cold.
Someone get a jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it has just out of interest, just because there was something I noticed before I go. Have either of you? By the way, you may have noticed Darren's disappeared, but that's now standard. Have either of you ever seen a sort of is it Chinese or Japanese movie? I cannot remember which one. Called House of Flying Daggers.
Yes, I have.
I've heard of it.
Okay, just bear that film in mind in certain sequences of this film when you're watching DOA.
Can I watch that instead?
No.
Oh.
we're all going down together. Pardon the phrasing.
Oh, all right.
So there you go. There you have it. So if you'd like to send in feedback for DOA, Dead or Alive, and we're talking about Dead or Alive, the fighting game movie starring Holly Valance, Jamie Priestley, and Mei Ling, not Dead or Alive, the 1950s thriller, or its remake starring Dennis Quaid, because there was that as well. So just bear that in mind. If it stars Dennis Quaid or is in black and white, you've got the wrong film. You're watching a better film, but you got the wrong film. If it starts off with ladies fighting in their bras, then you're on the right track. Okay, so if you want to send in feedback, send it into feedback@blackdogpodcast.com. If you want to get in touch with us any other way, you can also jump on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Blackdog Podcast. And, of course, you can follow us on Twitter, which is @BlackDogPodcast, and I'm on @CartoonBeardy. Although I will say that my love of Twitter is once again starting to fade because I just get reminded it's the outrage machine. So, so we might not necessarily respond on that one as much. But anyway, before I go, gentlemen, would you like to tell everyone your wares? Jim?
Yes, you can hear me every week on my own show, Hypnagoria. And this weekend, the current episode is my tribute to the late, the great John Hurt.
And very good it is too, may I say.
Thank you. It was a monumental task. There's a lot you could talk about. But I tried to delve into some a bit off the beaten path, while also obviously flagging up his iconic roles. So.
Yeah, no, you did a really good job, Jim. You know, I'm notoriously terrible with obituaries, so I have extra respect for anyone who can do it, and you did a very good job.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. And what about you, Elton?
You can catch me this week talking about the 2017 upcoming movies on Shonky Lab, which is at shonkylab.com. You can also catch me and Andy talking about Band of Brothers. We put the first episode, or part one, of the Band of Brothers podcast is out now. You can catch that on road2media.com and iTunes and all other places as well. So if you want to join in with that, give it a listen and find out how.
Yeah, okay, cool. I was going to say, do you record regularly, or is it going to be one of those kind of monthly things, or what?
Well, Band of Brothers, it's only a 10-part series, so we want to do it justice and take our time on it. So it might be, I think it's going to be whenever we're free to record. So we're recording this Sunday for part 2 of Band of Brothers, called Day of Days. It's really going to start kicking off on there as well. So if you want to join in, just give it a listen and find out when we're recording. There is a Facebook group as well, so it'll be on there.
Brilliant. Okay, because I missed the feedback for the first one and I didn't get a chance to watch it, so I was just trying to work out how long I had to catch up on the first and second episodes. That's all.
Gotcha.
Brilliant. Okay then. Well, thank you very much to everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Elton. I would say thank you, Darren, but he's probably asleep by now. Yes, we shall see you all next week for Dead or Alive. Until then, take care, and we'll see you next time. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
bollocks to it.